Sure.
Gonna warn us this week.
Yeah, we're live now. Hello, friends. Welcome to our After the Fire session, Season 2, Episode 7, In the Shadow of the Mountain. I have some wonderful people with me. Thank you for joining me today. Let's go round and have a chat with all of you. Jason. Jason.
Yes. Yes.
Brand new character.
Brand new character indeed. If I'm sure the audience is already familiar, but if you're not, I was running a little bit of an AMA for Briar, the character that I'm going to be fielding amidst these fine folks today, and in the company of our mystery guest, which I'm totally not nervous about. But as it stands, I think it'll be a very fun time to occupy Briar for a little bit and see where the house goes with him attached. Outside of that, man, just at Just Jason Please on Twitter if you want to follow me, figure out where I am at any one point in time, and I'll leave like the big plugs at the end, but say I'm happy to be here and happy to have a little bit of fun with these fine folks.
Nice. Well, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it. And Charlie is back in the driving seat of Marzia. How you doing?
Good. I kind of miss my mustache. Like, I got kind of attached to that last week.
It was a damn fine mustache.
It was a damn fine mustache. The beard was a bit bleh. I could do better, but the mustache nailed that thing.
It was cool. Apart from mustaches and putting corpses on
horses. It was
horses.
fun being a man in Westeros last week. I could do stuff and not be afraid.
That's a mood.
Back being a woman and treading a very fine line. And kind of Marzia at that cliff of just bad times, since there's only one Greenmont left at Greenmont, and he's only about 5'4", 3. I don't even know how old he is, like a couple of months old, if that. We Babu Bryn, the only Greenmont in the Red Mountains right now.
People in chat have discovered the Juicy Fruits emote that I got approved yesterday. It's a juicy lemon.
So good. It's so good, Sam.
That is so good.
It's a juicy lemon. So spam that when there are juicy fruits, because that was fun to make. James and I, there is a strange Discord chat of James and I posting random lemons at each other, like different drops coming out of it. But there we go, fam, and it's tier 1. So if you fancy just a the single tier, like the scrub tier subscription, then please, if there's a Amazon, there's a Prime sub in your pocket, or if you just fancy a sub, grab that emote. Hey, loads of people, thank you very much. And
there we go, gift subscriptions deployed.
Yes, and you'll get the Juicy Fruits subscription, as well as the Greenmont shield. It's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely sub, so Sam gets more emote slots.
Yeah.
For the tiers, so we can have more awesome emotes.
We have to figure out.
And if you're catching up with us on YouTube, hello. You can hit that little notification and the bell and the likes, and you can leave us comments, because we will probably read them, because we're those kinds of people, and we want to know what you think of our Juicy Fruit.
You're so professional, Charlie.
It is my job.
Speaking of which, how's it been? You played a new game on Monday? I saw a little bit of that.
Yeah, we're playing against the Dark Master on Monday. We've got the second part of that 2-shot coming up next Monday. It's coming to the end of the Encounter Roleplay season, so there's a lot going on. We've got the Meat Grinder coming up on the 30th. We're raising money for suicide prevention. You, of course, ran our last Meat Grinder last month.
Yeah. I'm bummed I can't play in it, because I'm a Dragon Meat. And
then I've just opened the casting call this week for my Game of Thrones game in January 2020 that Samuel Webb will be playing.
Yeah,
that's the one cast announcement I'm going to make about it. So that is an open casting call. So if you're interested in playing on Encounter Roleplay, join their Discord. The information's all in there. There's a little form to fill in.
We need a little exclamation mark encounter so that we can just in our chat we can link to you. Susie, get on it. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. And how was Technical Tuesdays? Are you still doing one shots, or are you doing the campaign again?
Will was back. Will was back this week,
nice.
And it went dark. Oh, there was this poor tortured doctor with nails through his knees. His eyes were gouged out. And then our players saw him, got a temporary insanity where they saw him as nothing, and started putting out their cigarettes on him. So that's kind of how our week went. It was very dark. We're in Carcosa. We're about to go to the courthouse of the King in Yellow himself to decide who becomes the new heart of Carcosa. It's a dark and weird time, but I get to do this every week.
Don said it
And it
reminds
brings
him
me
of
so much
Christmas.
joy.
What the
I mean,
fuck?
hi, Don.
I mean, that's super weird, but yeah, I mean, wholesome and fun times, I guess.
I think it's the darkest game I'm playing in at the moment. And then last week on Dreads, Virginia's internet was being poop. And I randomly decided it was a great idea that I GM the game so that we still had an episode because everyone was ready to go. And seat of the pants was what was going on.
Charlie, I think you were in my head. I just want that to go on record that Charlie somehow managed to run a session that was almost entirely pretty much what I planned.
Very nice. Very cool. Speaking of, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Tabletop Pod new to the streaming life.
Woo.
With all of your Fallout streams. So how are you finding it?
Oh, it's fun. It's so fun. I started streaming Fallout 1 over on my channel, Tabletop Horde, and it's been really cool. Like, people have been awesome about jumping in and helping me figure out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing, because that game does not tell you. And I just hit affiliate, which is insane, because I've been streaming like on my own channel not even a month, and everyone's been awesome. I think I had my first sub the other day, which was super cool.
You did it super quick. Like, super quick.
Yeah, to be fair, I did stream like virtually every night that I wasn't doing anything else for like 2 weeks, so I quite easily bumped that up, and everyone was really good about following. So
yeah, for sure. And so if you're not following Virginia already, please head over to Tabletop Horde. It's there on Twitter, but it is also twitch.tv/Tabletop Horde, right?
Yeah, come and join my shenanigans as I play through Fallout 1, which we got the water chip, it's fine. I just have to deal with super mutants. What could go wrong? And I think probably at some point on the weekend, I might do some talk throughs of the games that are coming up for my January stream, where I start my one-shots for all of the books behind me that I've bought and not played yet. Because we're all guilty of that, right, role players?
Like, you're doing God's work here, I feel. Like, you, like all role players should. You just be like, do you know what? I'm going to one-shot all of the games I haven't played yet. That's brilliant.
As long as I've read them and played them, I'm justified in my purchase and I can buy more. It doesn't matter that they don't fit in the bookcase anymore. I can stack them up as long as I've played them.
That was kind of my thing. Like, it's like, as long as I played them. And yet here we are, and I've not played The Expanse, and I've not played Dungeon World yet, and I have this other stuff that I've been reading. I really should. I really should. However,
play one-shots.
Yeah, well, speaking of one-shots, I do have some plans to play a one-shot of the Alien RPG that's just come out. It's actually retailing in December 10th, but backers have got their stuff already. I managed to blag a copy off Thomas and the wonderful people at Free Legan, and I'm going to do a one-shot. I'm not going to say who is in it yet. I'm not that kind of person, but because Susie's probably screaming at me for announcing it early. But I am going to do because I feel like there aren't enough of these, and I feel like Alien is the one. I'm going to do a one-on-one GMing session for the Alien RPG. I think it's going to be really good, because then you get to have that like isolated focus on one character, and it should be really cool. So it is, Susie's right, it's going to be juicy. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been doing a little bit of prep. Like I always do, I get very into Photoshop and like props and stuff, and I've had to like calm myself down and actually just read the book instead of just, making stuff for it. But I like it. It's a good system. It builds on their D6 system, obviously, where you have to roll a 6 with a little pool of dice. But it's got some interesting stuff about defending and some combat stuff. So it's not just a very simple system. It's got some intricacies to it, which is nice. I'm looking forward to it. Juicy eggs are not a thing, Roller. I'm sorry, it's not. That was a bit weird. But yeah, apart from that, I completed Outer Worlds the other day. Was actually a little bit disappointed. Like, the end boss was very, here's a thing that you fought before, now it's got a shield, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it was just really tough, and my companions died really quickly, and I was like, I could have quite happily like done some dialogue options and done some interesting quest things, and I'd have been happy. But I think in a weird way, they did a bit of a Bioshock. They kind of had to. They felt like they had to give you a final boss, and I was like, I'm all right with not, And they'd done so well before. Like some of the plots, particularly the subplots, were amazing. Like the lesbian/asexual relationship plot was incredible. Like I was there for that. So that was my week.
And it happens like with most games. It's just figuring out the end and how you want it to end. It's such a difficult thing to strike, but from all accounting, it's at least that I've seen. I have not yet played it, just as yet. But kudos to the people who put their heart and soul in that game, because it out of nowhere, almost like it has come to be like one of the most not only representative but just wonderful games that I've been party to just sort of be on the outside looking in on.
They are. It is a lovely game. It is a cracking game. Really good fun. Really good fun. All right. Well, let's kick things off. We always fill these first kind of 20 minutes, half an hour. But let's get on with it. Tonight, with episode 7, In the Shadow of the Mountains, I am going to start with Marzia. You dash through the crisp, cold night, your feet pressed down on the cold rocks as you stay low against the brush. The sky above, and the bright moon lighting your way as you rush down the ravine towards the valley below. You hope for a stream or a spring, any kind of fresh water, as you push yourself further and further from home. You know that you need to push harder, to push further, but the tang of blood at the back of your throat emphasizes the burn you can feel in these lungs. Hanging in the air, you can smell the scent of other beasts, like you, a warning sign sprayed on rocks of you breaking into and through others' territory. From this vantage point, you can see your route below, a winding path amongst the rocks and bushes lit by this moonlight before you head back up the next mountain. This journey will take days, if not weeks, and you are far from home. But you must keep pushing. You must keep hunting. You must reach your prey. Its detail is foggy now behind this primal brain, and its feast of smells and tastes on the cold night air obscure your memory as you try and reach back to something else, to something different from the skin that you inhabit. So you are pushing Salastria. And how do you imagine it's been, and how do you imagine you are now as this creature?
To begin with, it was driven by Marzia's mind, by the desire to seek family, and then I think a couple of hours into the run, it was like taking a breath. It was this freedom. It was being outside. It was being able to move, to run in a way that Marzia has never been able to run in her life.
Mm.
And then it became an adventure. It was new trees, new rocks, new places to go. Both Salastria and Marzia were happy in that moment. And then it just became harder and harder and more frightening as Marzia tries to navigate something she hasn't had to do in this way before. She has to try and remember to read signs. She has to avoid dangers. And it becomes more and more frightening, and that begins to consume more and more of her focus. She has to trust Salastria's instincts more, trust that the Shadowcat knows more.
And I think those instincts also press upon you this idea of being outside of your territory. It's doubly so. You being outside of Fox Hollow and your own mind, and Salastria's instincts being away from her territory. And this is something so primal for felines that they like the urge to lay low, to duck, to almost to cower sometimes can be overpowering. But you are pushing on. I will need you to make me an orientation test. This is based on survival. I think this is going to be your orientation.
Okay.
I'm going to take a look at the Shadowcat stats Just for the sake of her instincts, I think I may apply any bonus dice she has here, because I believe
her
she
bonus
might.
dice are only in stealth, if I remember the sheet right. But I could be wrong.
I think it's on the old game, isn't it? So
Yeah.
you have. She has hunt and track, so she doesn't have orientation. So the base difficulty is 9. This is a night with a moon, so there's no modifier. You are in mountains, so there is a +5. So this test will be difficulty 14. And really this will measure...
I cannot roll a 14.
Okay.
It is impossible. Actually, do I have any bonus dice or anything set on my screen?
You have a test die on your screen.
You know what? Marzia is very driven.
And you have any destiny points you want to use too? Oh. Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna use that test dice. So that'll bring me up to 3 dice. So it's still gonna be really hard.
Yeah, it is. But don't worry, like a successful test indicates you travel in the direction you intend. That's fine. I'm not gonna do like hours per degree or anything. A failed test means you might drift. So like if you're traveling north, then you might go northeast instead. A critical failure means that you might turn around and head in the opposite direction. So a critical failure is going to be more than 5 steps under. Okay. So that's going to be, well, if it's 14, it's going to be a 9 or less on the actual dice result.
So I'm going to roll this with the bonus dice, but then I'll tell you what the bonus dice number was and we'll add it. Because that's 3 dice rolled then.
Oh, the test die?
Yeah, but I can't roll an additional test die. So I'll roll it as a bonus, and then I'll look at what was rolled, and we'll add it.
Sure. I mean? Yeah.
So it's still rolling 3 dice. Nope. That's a 6 and 2 1s.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's
8 total. That's under 5.
Yeah, that sinking feeling of being outside your territory and being lost is overwhelming. And the feeling to find like a place to stay, a place to just kind of lay low, lie down for the night. I mean, Salastria's instincts and her kind of energy in terms of her circadian rhythm, it's high at the moment. It's nighttime. The dawn sun just starts at your elevated position to creep above the eastern horizon line. And the light of that glows a beautiful amber across the Red Mountains as you look for somewhere to settle down. To do that, I'm gonna ask again for... Well, I think also your energy as you're starting to try and look for this. You have to stay here. That's the kind of cost I'm going to associate with a failed test. Is you have to stay here. You are lost. You just have to kind of, take stock and settle down. Pangs of hunger begin to strike into Salastria's belly, and there is the scent of different animals, probably small game and such, on the air, as well as the distant smell of other shadow cats or even mountain lions. What would you like to do?
I think at this point, Marzia sees that sun, and it's almost a warning sign of how much time has passed while she's been running. And she knows she's not as good a cat as Salastria is a good cat. And so at this point, she's going to attempt to will Salastria to rest, to hide, to hunt, and to wait for her to come back so that they can continue their trip across the mountains.
Okay.
So she's kind of using her, what would be like command words you would use for a dog or in this situation. But to Marzia, Salastria's her animal cohort is trained to a high degree with Marzia. So she's kind of issuing those command words to her, hoping that feline mind will hear them, take it in, and not come running home, and we have to go through this all again.
Can you make me a will test, please? And I'm going to apply any bonus dice you have from the charm in animal handling.
I don't have any bonus dice, so this will just be my straight will.
Okay, that's still pretty high, I think.
5 dice.
Yeah. Let me just check the screen.
I have a bonus dice in train.
Yeah, you can apply that.
Okay. Because I need that to have animal cohorts, so that's where that bonus dice comes from.
That makes good sense, yeah.
14. I rolled 3 ones, it dropped 1. But yeah, 14 overall.
Let's check her passive
Marzia, stop with the ones.
will. Get them out now.
Yeah, get them out now, actually, it's probably a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, she has a passive will of 8, so that's good for me, I think. So, yeah, you do that, and you slip out of her skin. And your eyes and your limbs are heavy in your bed. But this is where you left yourself, basically kind of getting her to make the journey overnight as you sleep. So these have been your lucid dreams. And as you wake, Grammy's voice in the corner of the room says, "Good morning."
Good morning.
She sits beside the cot that would contain your twins, but now contains Bryn only. You don't hear any disturbed signs from Bryn. He is sleeping soundly. But Grammy Crane does say, "I had to come and check on Bryn, for you would not stir last night when he cried for you. I had to get Braith to come in and somehow cover for what was going on, but I think I know what was going on."
It was a long night. I was a long way away. But I'm back now. Thank you.
I've not seen the Shadowcat around the grounds last night or this morning, as I went to and from bed.
She's a wild creature. Grows tired being stuck at the house all the time.
Far away, though.
Yes. Very far. I can't tell you where. Your assumption's correct.
Be careful, little one. Be careful. You can push the animal, but please don't push yourself unnecessarily.
I don't think I have a choice. I'm sorry for your bird.
What's done is done.
Why would he use its eyes?
Who?
And she's scared to say the name of who she expects it to be. Even his nickname. Who else? Who else uses the eyes of others to see things?
One of these 1,000 eyes.
I had to stop him.
It's what he does, my child. Like us.
Well, like the other Targaryens, if he wishes to visit, he can come himself. And she kind of rolls to the edge of the bed and starts getting up. She's just exhausted, but she knows she's got stuff to do today, and she knows this was kind of the plan all along, was run all night, get up, do what she has to do all day, because she has to keep the house running, although Fox Hollow itself has been somewhat shut down, the hall kind of closed off, although the lands around are still working and open as usual.
Your breakfast is meager. it's probably some dried fruits that have been softened in some warm goat's milk or something. These are
Kind of like a yogurt-y.
Yeah, and I imagine if the place has been shut down a bit, it could almost be that you're on almost like siege-like rations. That it's just not appetizing. Grammy eats barely any of this porridge-like stuff or like granola that's been put in front of her, as she longs for some blood sausage or something, just to actually like, that goes down easier and comes out easier.
Mm-hmm. You should rest and eat.
You'll want to talk.
When the soldiers are back, the farms will be able to work more. There aren't enough men on the Greenmont lands to do it all at once.
You should think of that.
What can I do?
I do not know. I was not trained in stewardship, nor did I take my hand to it at any point.
They'll be back soon. No one would defy the prince.
I have no men to do stupider things.
As have I, and it has cost them all their lives. They will come back. And if they don't, they will never be permitted to come back.
And she says to you stiffly, "Very well, my lady." And she takes another spoonful of her siege breakfast.
And Marzia looks to the crib and then to her grandmother. We just need to be patient. It's a little more time.
Bryn starts to stir and wail and needs a feed. Briar, we move over to a cool morning in front of Fox Hollow's main doors. Down below you, you can see this natural ramp that leads up towards the hall as you stand opposite another on guard duty. And then slowly from the horizon, the rhythm of march, the walking of men, start to make their way up the little ravine in the mountains, in the shadow of this mountain. And then in front of you, with the Greenmont troops disbanding ranks and the Oakheart Knights dismounting from their great war horses, the mutterings you hear from the soldiers and scouts start to make more sense. No engagement. Sir Brabblebrook was overly cautious. They had a chance to rush in and assist Sir Oliver's forces, Sir Oliver's Ironwood forces. Yes, indeed, Sir Oliver was present at the battle too. But you hear that the young Lord Oak's pride got in the way. The lordlings and their knights and their horses are not your concern. But tired from the mountain trails, Sir Brabblebrook looks about him, scanning the faces of the mailed, armoured, hollow-heart soldiers guarding the slope of this keep. And he settles on your face and approaches in tired, broad strides. Barely looking at you now, he says, "My good man, Briar, is it?"
Yes. He's kind of scrambling for his helmet at this point, just trying to surreptitiously slam it on his head.
"Good, I have a mission for you. Come with me." And he leads you down the ramp, down this kind of rocky road. And he leads you to the back of the column, to the few carts and the camp followers that are milling about and unloading their supplies at the bottom of this natural ramp. And there, in a cart, he points you to what looks like a crumpled sack of potatoes. except a sack of potatoes wouldn't have the long arms and long legs of a man. And he describes the situation of a stowaway to you.
Helmet on, just sort of listening to whatever he's describing.
He lifts up the man, flashing you a look of him under these cloaks and throws and rough-spun rags under a hood. And he says, "Get him into the house. Present him. Get him to the lady. But none of this to anybody. Do you understand?"
He like tries to half start sentences, but just praying that he doesn't know or doesn't make the connection. He just nods and
sure. As you're stuttering away, he like slaps you on the shoulder and he's like, "Boy, go."
That kind of gets at him, but he he takes the stowaway and kind of just marches forward.
And like Babblebrook's moustache like bristles as he like takes a hunk of bread or something that he can grab off a camp follower for some breakfast as he slowly makes his way up the ramp. You and your stowaway friend are a little bit quicker than that, make your way up the ramp just as you see Mara and her husband, the young oak, head into Fox Hollow.
As he's walking, Briar is just sort of muttering to the stowaway, like, "Pilling old fool, falls and breaks bloody."
How do you want to go about smuggling this guy?
I don't give a shit. I'm just shoving him forward, like. To hell with it. Like, sure, yeah, nobody's supposed to see. Nobody's supposed to be going out in the middle of wartime. Never mind. Just literally just leading this guy quickly as possible. Like, damn everything.
Mara, as you enter Fox Hollow and you take the salt and bread and gain its hospitality, you see a Hollowheart knight of like chainmail armor, finely crafted Greenmont sword, a large, much like the symbols we've got in our windows, the shield of Greenmont painted, well carved, and he's pushing this man with like cloak and rough spun tunics on and stuff. You don't manage to see his appearance as you try and look in between the folds in his hood. But you are here with your husband, and Lady Marzia has just finished her breakfast.
What has Alistair's mood been like the last day or so?
Pretty fucking shit. Can be assumed.
Sure.
He's been quiet. He's been sulking, basically. Take a leaf out of my bad book sometimes, and yeah, he's just been in a sulk, you know. And it's that typical manly, like, you know, you're like, at one point I imagine you'd be like, "Stop sulking," and he's like, "I'm not sulking." And then he tries to be a bit more affirmative and stuff.
She just, that entire time, she'll just be like, "Okay, you're not sulking."
Even though Lord Tarly went separate ways when the host departed from Vulture's Roost, Lord Alistair has been travelling with the young heir to the Tarleys. I've forgotten his first name, but Lord Tarly. Not Sir Lendon, his father, but the same age. The men who were training together is kind of roughly when you last saw them. They compare what happened at the battle, the fact that the Oakheart cavalry managed to get more action than the Greenmont forces, and that they were held back. But they've certainly been forming a friendship on the way to Fox Hollow. What
kind of friendship have they been forming, Sam?
Don't give me that smile. What you've witnessed is them talking. Is them. There's not been any more like training going on and stuff. But they've been riding together. They've been speaking. They're good friends. by the looks of it. I mean, you know there might be more, but just from what you've witnessed.
Is there enough at all for Mara to suspect that perhaps the Tarleys are trying to like buddy up to him again, like they did before when they wanted him to come on this? Or does it just seem like they've kind of been stuck together and there's no one else for him to talk to that isn't me that's of the same kind of social standing? Because she's still worried that these larger, more influential houses are trying to pull him into stuff that he's not ready for.
For sure. Roll me a awareness empathy test.
Oh, okay. Am I good at, I don't think I'm good at this.
Am I good at this?
Oh, I'm okay at it. Maybe. 15?
You don't sense any ulterior motive from what you have witnessed. Just two bros chilling in a hot tub, as Pope has rightfully put it.
I mean, I think Mara would naturally be a little bit, after Alistair has been the way he's been and what he said to her about stuff, be like, okay, this seems fine. He'd tell me. She trusts that. She thinks he's an idiot, but she doesn't think he's a liar. So
you're quite happy to assume that, V. That's all your thing. That's good. Not going to get you to roll anymore.
No, that's fine. I guess Mara once she arrives, she's with Alistair and will kind of give him that look that says, we're going to go and greet the Lady Marzia. It's that look that your wife or girlfriend gives you when she's like, you're doing this.
Mate, he doesn't really pay much attention to that, and he's already walking into the Great Hall.
Fair.
He's like, he is a young lord, and he is in someone's holdfast. He is going in to greet them.
Yeah. Mara will head in with him and do the general pleasantries to the Lady Marzia, as is expected by custom, before kind of dropping back into that slightly more relaxed, because this is still her home in her mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, this is her father's house. This is Marzia's house.
This is where I sit back and let you guys chat.
And after the formalities are done, she will approach the Lady Marzia and say she's still got the letter in her hand, like she'll come in with it. The letter arrived not quite in time before the battle, though.
Forces are home. That is what is important.
Yes.
You should not have gone.
I know. But
I should not have let you go.
Perhaps not. But
Lady Marzia, Mara was not to blame. We commanded that war host, and we took your forces.
Then, Lord Alistair, the blame lays on your shoulders for letting your wife attend a war, an illegal war.
You know my wife as well as I do. You know I had no real part in...
Does your wife command you, Lord Alistair? Do you have no control, Lord Alistair?
Mara will give him a brief smile as he does the whole, it's not my choice that my wife went. She appreciates that he realizes that. But it's that kind of side, like the smile in the eyes. But my lady, I know that there was plenty of time for the Crown to have called this an illegal war when it was announced back at Highgarden. 2 powerful houses of the Reach were involved. If the Crown had an issue with it, the Crown had plenty of time.
Indeed there was. And I believe you assume my wife to be too stupid to understand those politics, my lady. Should you say that she commands me?
Underestimate your wife and my daughter at all. I overestimated, however, your intelligence and your associations with Peake and Tarly. I overestimated that the truth would be brought to my house when you came seeking additional forces for your host.
Lady Marzia, he didn't lie. Peake and Tarly, mostly Peake, from what I've heard on the way back, was not necessarily the most honest in his intentions. I was there when this was announced at Highgarden. I saw what happened.
Our intentions were true, my lady. No one has lied.
And Highgarden supported this host.
Highgarden didn't stop it. The Lord Tyrell didn't stop it.
The lords
I
and kings...
directed the prince to the Lord Tyrell. We've had enough death and misery. Enough squabbling. I'm afraid there is scant food for the table, but you're welcome to what we have.
Perhaps we could send some of the men out hunting, and she'll look to Alistair. It's a considerable host we've brought back. Lady Marzia, I just want to say, because I don't believe my husband would be as boastful to say it himself, but when I arrived with this letter, he didn't even think twice about bringing the forces back, didn't start a fight. He was not just concerned for himself or me with the possibility of Maekar making his way, but also for our forces at Greenmont, for you, for the house.
You say the letter arrived too late. What did happen?
The battle had already begun. I was watching from one of the hillsides under guard when the Hollowheart messenger arrived. I had to take it myself. I took it myself.
What happened at the battle, Mara?
By the time I got onto the battlefield, it was bloody, and there's a moment where you can see her eyes almost glaze over as for a second she's taken back. In those moments, she walked through that battlefield, her like covering her dress in blood as she tried to speak to those who were dying and fallen. And by the time I got into Vulture's Roost, I don't know where Blackmont was, with somebody held prisoner. Sir Oliver was there. He's alive, Marzia. And he said he wanted to come back for you, and that he would. He made me promise to tell you that. And she'll lead in slightly closer. Miria? He assures me Miria is safe and well, and he's doing what he can to clear her name.
How many injured?
She just looks at Alistair, because in Mara's mind, you know, everyone is... I imagine there was a rush to get back here so that they weren't caught up by Maekar's forces and perhaps seen in the wrong light.
None of the Greenmont or Oakhart forces, my lady.
There's no one to tend to.
No.
They are exhausted, I imagine, but not too injured.
Well, that is good news, at least.
I'm sorry.
No foul, I suppose.
I'm sorry for any grief you may have suffered, Lady Marzia. I'd never wish that on you. And she'll reach over and try to take your hand, and you can see she is genuinely... She feels for the fact that you're clearly distressed and have been upset and stressed out by this.
And Blackmont? Marzia doesn't so much take Mara's hand, but she doesn't retract her hand either.
I don't know. As soon as I arrived with that letter and showed it to Alistair and Babblebrook, they both looked at it. We left. As far as I know, Sir Oliver has charge of him. And Peake and Tarly, if he stayed, they went to Starpike, I think. The idea of standing him trial to clear Miria's name. But we left.
To Peake. I sent Rob to fetch Simon, to take him to the Blackmonts as we'd agreed.
Has he come
not had
through?
Word yet.
What? But that was... I sent a letter with that.
It's possible they have not had time. We didn't have ravens.
We should send one. We should find out if they're still in Highgarden. God knows what Simon got himself caught up in while he was starting to while I was there.
Now you are back, it is my intention to send to Highgarden to purchase ravens for the house. I know it's a tradition to use the couriers, and I trust greatly in our men. But we just don't have the time to wait for horses to charge across the countryside now. Too much is happening.
What's happened here that I understand from the
prince arrived unannounced. No warning. How does a prince ride across the countryside and no word reach me before he arrives? All the way from Summer Hall.
He travelled from Summerhall to here just to make a point of an illegal war. He couldn't have sent an emissary or a rider.
No. He had much business to attend with us.
Was someone at least with you, Marzia, when he arrived?
My grandmother.
Rosanna Crane from the corner approaches just a few steps to make her presence known.
Has been good enough to honour us by staying and assisting me here at the house.
And she'll kind of, in respect, nod and bow at the Lady Crane.
And I'm afraid, Mara, that your aunt has had to accompany the prince to Summer Hall.
I don't understand. Why?
Your brother needed someone to look after him.
Marzia, I don't understand. What are you saying?
You're smart enough, Mara, to work it out.
And Mara is physically grabbing onto Alistair's arm here and like searching for his hand as she digs her fingers into him as she starts to shake and go white.
You are both intelligent enough to know that actions have consequences.
No.
Your sister is a traitor and missing from Summer Hall. You wage an illegal battle in Dawn.
Which of my brothers?
Consequences.
Which of my brothers did he take, Marzia?
What do you mean, which? Do you have a preference? Which of your siblings is taken?
But I'd like to know which one it is that I'll have to look for.
You'll have no part in that, Mara. It's not your business.
I nearly had the chance to go and see Myria before everything started.
We nearly had a chance to do a lot of things, didn't we?
We don't give up now. Not now.
You're an Oakheart. You have Oakheart matters to attend to, I'm sure.
Marzia, he is my brother. This is still my father's house, and I'm still my father's daughter. Do you think I will sit aside while the prince takes my brother to Summerhall in place of my sister?
I think you will do what is best for your house, Mara. You will attend your husband. You will help House Oakheart. We will attend to the peace of this country, of this kingdom, and serve our lords.
The Princess Daenerys was very understanding when I wanted to see Myria.
The Princess Daenerys has not sent us any word.
And she was not here.
No, but that doesn't mean that we can't try and contact. He can ward our brother.
He could kill your brother.
He could kill any of us, Marzia. It's nothing for the crown to send gold cloaks.
I know.
So what? We do nothing. We let him sit there. We let them take your son, my brother.
You assume I am doing nothing.
I don't assume that you're doing nothing, but you cannot expect me to do nothing.
I've told you what you must do to help him and to help us. We must make amends. And we cannot do that by conspiring. By trying to be more than we are right now. You've put down the raiders. You have my thanks for that.
So what, we're just supposed to grovel, apologize, and wait and hope that they let him go? Like we were going to hope that they let Miria go. They weren't going to let her go. They were going to
We
wait.
were going to buy her back. We just needed more time. We needed to make alliances and friendships and amends.
And by then she would have been old enough to be married off to a terrible suitor, most like. The crown is not in the business of helping houses that it considers a traitor, whether my father was alive or not.
You have made a good marriage, Mara. You should honor that.
I have.
Worry about that. Enough stress. It will not help you.
At least let me write. Let me see if I can at least see him. Or have you see him.
Write to Daenerys. See if the princess will hear from you.
At the very least, we can be told how he is doing. A letter could be passed to Lana. We could see if perhaps we could just have ravens sent back and forth. At least you'd know how your baby is doing. Marzia, he's not just my brother, he's your son. I can't imagine you being separated from him.
We'll send to High Garden for the ravens, as I have said. We need patience, Mara. We need to stop.
This is just like the Tyrells all over again, isn't it? Marzia, whatever it takes, please know I still care about this house. This house is my father's legacy. You are my father's legacy. You think he would have married you if he didn't think you were capable? He was not in the business of surrounding himself with weak women.
Greenmont will survive.
Yes, it will. And I have not forgotten this house or you. I will do what I can without causing any trouble. I will see if the Princess Daenerys can sway it so that we can at least know what's going on. Hear about what's going on. Alistair, and she'll turn to him. She's still clutching his arm, trying to steady herself.
And he's still holding you up.
Perhaps when we get back, we can arrange to have some things sent for my brother. Clothes, items, something. Perhaps the crown will take it as a gift, that we don't expect them to provide everything for him, that we're not taking this as a luxury. Not that, I mean, they know that we're not, but for the sake of appearance.
It is a great honor they have done us.
And she's giving you that look that says you can't believe that.
And Marzia is definitely kind of dead behind the eyes, just exhausted, done.
And Mara nods, knowingly noticing that look, and kind of squeezes your hand a bit tighter in that. I get it. I get why you're saying it. Marzia, is there anything I can do? Are there any duties around here that I can help fulfill until we leave?
Now the men are back, the farms need to be tended to. The land, I've No time to do.
Well, let's start with the food, shall we? Deal with that problem first here. Alistair, your forces, your men, they are good hunters.
Not so much in these mountains. In hunting woods and boar and such like. My lady, I imagine that your men would know these mountains a lot better. You could hunt the game there.
Where's Bevelbrook?
I think he's still dealing with the host coming in.
He actually is like making his way just through the great hall doors at this point, just slowly clanking in his half-plate armor.
Gods.
As he eventually gets to you, he takes a knee and bows very deeply. And he says, "My lady, Greenmont." And he stays there.
Bevelbrook, I'm glad to see you are returned.
And he like uses Alistair to like get up.
Bevelbrook, please assist Lord Alistair in sending men out to hunt.
My lady.
And then rest.
Very good.
Any sickness, send them to Braith.
And at this, Mara will turn to Alistair, and she's still kind of shaking and white, and she kind of detaches herself from him, trying to keep this collected appearance up, and just says, "I should bathe and change. It's been a long journey, my love. Perhaps you will come and see me later when you've dealt with whatever needs to be done here." And she's still kind of shaking and desperately just trying to keep herself together.
Mara, take some wine and go and rest. You've had a long journey.
And Mara will come up and come round the side of this table that you're at and just reach down and put her arms around you in a warm hug. And you can see that you can feel her shaking where she's holding back those tears. And she hugs you really, really deeply, almost kind of like a child hugs their mother, pressing her face into your hair, and just whispers, "I'm so sorry. We'll get him back, Marzia. We'll find a way. We'll find a way, mother." And it's very rare that she will call you mother. I like to think that they've established this relationship where it is either Marzia in private or Lady Marzia in public. But occasionally she has done in times, and she does now call you mother.
And she'll kind of reaches up her hand and kind of strokes your hair where she can reach it.
And you feel her kind of relax into the comfort, the way a child does when they're upset. And she'll eventually, after a moment, pull herself back, like resting her hand on your shoulder, and just gives you this look of pain and sadness, but resoluteness that we'll get through it somehow, that there has to be a way. You can see the determination in her face that you've seen so many times. And she'll go over to the table and shakingly pour herself wine as you instructed. Turn back, bow to you and to the lady, Rosanna Crane, kind of give Alistair a nod. And she's really struggling to hold it in now. And if you'll excuse me, and will very quickly make her way off. And as soon as she's out of sight of anybody in that hall, she is streaming with tears, trying to drink this wine and just something to do as she tries to find her way back to her chambers here, which I imagine are still set up from when she left.
My Lord Alistair, I ask permission for borrow of your wife. I have correspondence that need attendance.
A writer, of course, my lady.
If you need anything, my household is yours.
If it is any reconciliation, my lady, your message would have arrived if Sir Oliver had not entered battle early.
I understand. Thank you.
And he leaves, leaving you alone with some cards in the Great Hall. Briar.
Fuck's sake, what am I supposed to do with this stowaway? Just sort of grumbling to himself as he's like...
Is it sometime later and you've just like ducked and weaved in between people, new couriers, devoted and stuff coming home. You're kind of into like a part of the kind of antechamber corridor of like there's a little just like off and there's some seating and stuff, and you're just kind of ducked behind there. When you see Lady Marzia heading back towards her solar, so her like office and private chambers, either really up to Charlie, I guess, seeking some privacy or seeking to actually get back to business. But now is your chance.
Right. Shield in one hand, sort of checking to make sure that my sword is sheathed properly. Grab the stowaway, sort of hoist them up, and just follow after the Lady Marzia.
Okay. Charlie, what does Briar see as he stands just outside your doorway that's been left ajar?
Marzia has a desk and there are books and all things, but all of them are very much untouched. There's a sense of things just being left in the right place. I imagine this is the room with that bay window that we've seen before previously, and it's got like cushions, and she's probably pacing beside that window looking out towards the mountains.
Unclasp the helmet, put it under my non-shielded arm, and just walk forward with the stowaway in front of me. Lady Marzia, I was instructed by our Master-at-Arms to deliver this to you.
And she looks curiously, and for a moment there's a question on her face, and then she kind of waves her hand for the hood to be removed to figure out, who has just been brought into her room when she's busy thinking about things.
Fine. Just take down the hood and just look.
My lady. I have returned, as I promised. And Oliver is standing there in the doorway. He's wearing tattered tunic, not his usual garb at all. He looks dirty. He looks like a peasant. He looks a little gaunt in the cheeks, a little sunken in black beneath his eyes. But there's a little bit of a small smile on his face and a twinkle in his eyes as he pulls down the hood and steps forward just a few steps, taking a long look up and down at Lady Marzia. I'm sorry that I could not return sooner.
I've been told you've been in a rush to do a great deal of things recently.
Yes, it is true. And he looks back at Briar and gives him sort of a thankful nod and a pat on the shoulder. He says, I'm sorry, my good man. I do not know your name, but I am grateful for your discretion.
Come from a business where discretion, men live and die by it.
Oh, that is good to know. I have need of more discretion now. Would you mind staying, being sure that we are not interrupted while I speak with my lady?
I want to get a good beat on Oliver. Like, Briar has been away from Fox Hollow for a time, and I don't know if he's truly like on the level. He's got his own thoughts. So could I make like an empathy check or something like that? Like just to see what's happening?
Sure.
Okay. Well, let's see how this goes.
Don, what's your passive deception?
Terrible. I think it's a 4.
Well, that's a 17, so I think that's more than 4.
What is Oliver's disposition towards Briar?
Amiable.
Cool.
He's being honest in that he's grateful for his discretion. Yeah, he seems honest.
I will do as you ask, though I must confess, your name does escape me.
I am Sir Oliver Briar. I am the master of arms at this house, and I look forward to working with you in the future.
Lord Ironwood.
As my lady says.
Briar's going to take a look around Oliver and just straight at Marzia, like, "This good? We're all right? We're happy?"
Oliver looks back to Marzia to determine her disposition.
Pissed. Marzia looks to Briar. A sick vulture. If anyone asks. Should no one ask, say nothing.
Going to pat Oliver on the shoulder and just sort of whisper in a low tone, "Seen that look before? Good luck." Just step out of the room.
This is a perfect opportunity for me, Don, to ask you to make an endurance test to see
Is this for
my wound
wound
and your injury have healed.
So do I make 2 tests here?
I am gonna just make you to do one endurance resilience test. So the sheet already should be factoring in that you've got a -1 dice and a -1 to the test result. Even though you have been stuck in the back of this cart and you've been trying to rest as best you can, the journey has been difficult, and it is akin to riding across these mountains. The difficulty to recover from your injury is 12. The difficulty to recover from your wound is 21.
Well, I think I have to fail both. I don't think I can hit a 12 with my penalties.
Okay. So depending on what you roll, there could be a critical fail here. So I want to check.
Gotcha.
What that
okay.
is.
So this is
endurance resilience, and the sheet should factor in the penalties.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I always forget that. Oh wait, do I have any bonus dice?
You have 2 test die and 1 bonus dice to spend. I haven't added it to the screen because you weren't here technically. So
okay. So what is what is my what was the DC for the wound?
21.
Oh, that's not going to happen. But I will do. I'll spend 1 of my test die and my bonus die, hoping that I can. Well. Yeah, screw it. That's what I'm going to do.
What are you going to do?
Save them. Just roll. Just don't fail.
I'm going to roll 1 test die, 1 bonus die is what I'm going to spend here.
Extra. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm. A 12.
Okay. Let me just check my notes. So you have removed the injury.
Okay.
But you critically failed the wound roll. You have gained a wound. A second
Wait, how
wound.
did I critically fail it?
So you roll a roll of 16 or less, yeah.
Oh.
So you have gained another wound.
Yikes.
So this wound would be like we call it like gangrene or something. Like you know, the wound you
I
have.
got history with that. Can we not call that that?
All right, sure, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So
Not two husbands on the truck. Come on.
the wound has gone sour. I hadn't.
Disinfected wound.
Wait a second. Can I spend my? Can I burn a destiny point to automatically succeed that second roll?
Dude, you did this after the test.
No, it's fine. I'll take the gangrene. Sounds fun.
All right. So the wound that's festered in the sun of the Red Mountains has gone sour. So you have 2 wounds. You need to spend a week in rehab in order to to roll again, basically. So you get a wound, you get a check to try and remove wounds every week.
Okay.
Marzia will be able to deal with wounds a lot better for you.
Yeah, good for you. 2 great healers are hanging out at Fox Hollow.
Yeah.
Convenient, one would say.
Right?
Just a quick question. Would Briar notice that, like, you're gangrenous and, like,
He looks bad.
He's definitely bad and sick. Yeah, I didn't watch the video back, Don. Like, what was what was the wound? Like, he got
stabbed,
I believe.
He got it was from Blackmont, and he got stabbed with a knife. It punctured through his armor, like in the side.
Yeah, he got like stabbed in the side. All right. Yeah, the wound's festered and it's just minging. And actually now, like, Marzia, you can smell this in the room.
I imagine that's why she said to Briar, like, it's a sick vulture. She could smell that shit the second it walked in the room.
You knew.
She knows that smell too well.
You knew.
Briar is even more hesitant to leave, so he kind of like hangs out in the door frame rather than like completely exiting the scene.
Sure.
And I think Oliver's been on his feet for a while now getting to Marzia, so he would look around for a place to sit in this room. What is there available?
I imagine there's a chair at that desk that Marzia hasn't been sitting in, and there's like the window seat as well.
He would go to sit on the edge of the window just so he can get a little bit of pressure off of his feet. And as he kind of lowers himself down, you can hear like an audible pained.
How bad is it?
I've had worse, my lady. But it hurts. It needs attention soon.
A lot of things need attention.
Yes. That is why I am here. To come to tell you the truth of what has happened since I left. To learn of your truth. And to keep my promise to you, my vow. To be married in the God's wood, so that your gods may look on my face and judge whether or not I am worthy.
We will have time for that discussion later. What happened?
It all began shortly before we reached the Red Mountains. And Oliver begins to describe in detail everything that's happened from the time when they first found the fake knights dressed in shoddy costumes and sent them back to Fox Hollow. He would describe going to Vulture's Roost and how he basically came upon Lord Blackmont there, having taken control of Vulture's Roost, and convinced him to relinquish Miria so that he could try to free her name. Taking her to Castle Ironwood, meeting his parents, finding out that his father's very old and very sick and is starting to lose touch with reality.
I think
he was
partway through this story, Marzia would dismiss Briar from the doorway.
What would be the part?
I
where would be?
imagine it would be around Vulture's Roost because she knows that's where you found Miria.
As you wish, my lady. Just sort of stalk off.
There's a hunting party being arranged. Perhaps you can assist.
I'm a shit hunter. You'll want me here. He kind of grumbles as he...
Before Briar steps out, Oliver just kind of weakly call out to him, Briar, please, after I have rested, come see me. I would like to speak with you again.
You may regret that.
I doubt it. Oliver will also take out, he has like a pouch on his belt, and he kind of loosens it up, and he takes a single gold dragon out, and he flicks it over across the room in Briar's direction.
What you pay me for? Conversation.
Your discretion and your help, should it come to it.
Sort of looks at the dragon. Is it an actual dragon, or is this one that's false?
It's real.
Has it got Daemon Blackfyre's face on it?
Jason, your loyalties are showing.
Is the question.
It doesn't have Blackfyres. No,
it's one of the tawny ones, right?
This is one of his tawny winds.
It's a legit gold dragon, mate. Yeah.
Pocket it. You already have those, but thanks for the gold.
He just nods.
Walk away.
You're bribing my men, Lord Ironwood.
It is difficult, my lady, to know who to trust in these days. The reach has grown complicated.
Barry, go on with your story.
Of course, my lady. And he continues to talk about their time, Mirian, his time in Ironwood. He would dote on what a fine young woman she is, how bright she is, and how brave she is. He would tell Marzia all about his parents. He doesn't know anything about Horatio. In his mind, I think Oliver still believes that Horatio is probably on the wall, so he doesn't even mention his brother. But he mentions that he convinced his parents to give him control of the Ironwood armies, and that he led them back to Vulture's Roost, hoping to capture Blackmont alive so that he could clear Miria's name and bring her home to Fox Hollow. And then he explains the battle. He talks about the meeting before the battle where Alistair threatened him. And when he describes the battle, he makes a very strong point and speaks a little bit quieter about how Alistair ordered his men to attack the Ironwood forces illegally, to strike them in the back when they were sieging the tower and fighting the bandits. He describes the meeting of Peake in Vulture's Roost. He describes defeating Blackmont and how Peake interceded. He skips the conversations with Tarly and Peake about possible rebellion, but he does describe how Peake dragged Blackmont up to the top of the tower and Oliver pursued, how Peake threw Blackmont from the tower in a rage to his death, and then tried to stab Oliver and push him from the tower as well. There was a fight, and Oliver killed Peake and threw his body from the tower, and then, wounded, told his army to return his knights to watch after Miria, and he went and spoke to Babblebrook and convinced Babblebrook to hide him away, to stow him away so that the Oakhearts and Alistair didn't know that he was traveling with their forces so that he could return to Marzia. And he finishes his story by saying, "And so I have waited, and now I am here, with Blackmont dead. Miria's name, it cannot be cleared. There is no witness, and the Targaryens will show no mercy for the girl. I tried. I did everything I thought I could, but I failed."
Was it all for nothing then?
Of course not. Lady Miria is safe. The vultures are gone. Peak is gone. And now we know something that we did not know before. This year, the birds chirp differently than they did last year. You can smell the copper on the wind, my lady. War is coming to the Reach, to Dorne. It is coming. And now we know.
Well, my lord, Blackmont, Ironwood, tell me, does your word have any value anymore?
I am here, and I am not.
Not that word, not to me. To the Reach. To the world. Does what you say mean anything?
Of course it does, my lady.
Then you will tell them that Miria is dead. It's the only way.
Tell who?
The prince came to our hall. And far be it for me to try and teach you a lesson, but it is proper etiquette that when you visit a lord's hall, you greet the lord. Come. One of your sons will be pleased to meet you.
There's just a little bit of mist in Oliver's eyes. He slowly pushes himself up, and there's something like joy and fear simultaneously in his eyes as he watches Marzia's face.
Wait, no, stay here. I will go. You and Alistair have much to reconcile. I'd rather you not cross paths right now.
Yes, that we do, my lady.
War might be coming, but I will not have it at Fox Hollow.
Neither would I.
Excuse me.
Bows as well as he can, stumbles a little bit, and then settles back down, sitting on the edge of that windowsill, watching Marzia.
Okay,
Marzia looks around the room as if she's forgotten something, or like she thinks she may have forgotten something, and then she'll leave.
Cool. As a note, Briar will be at the end of wherever the hallway is, just waiting.
Perfect. So as an intrusion here, I'm going to go to Briar. You see from the corner position that you have this outer hallway that I believe skirts the Great Hall in like a U shape if you look at the plan of the keep. You can see the hallway that people will come in to be greeted and receive hospitality from this house. And 3 new noble guests have arrived to Fox Hollow. You recognise from the previous and current guests that are here the bright blue and gold cranes on their clothes of crane lordlings. By the look of this middle-aged couple, you can only assume that this is Lord and Lady Crane. And with them, a man in fine noble garb, with black and gold quartered, with cups in some quarters, with receding sandy brown hair that goes down into some bright ginger chops at the side of his slightly chubby face. And there's another middle-aged man, slightly portlier than Lord Crane. And they are receiving the bread and salt of the house and its hospitality.
Do I recognize the sandy-headed dude?
Roll me a... this is going to be knowledge. Knowledge education.
Oh, okay, so 3 dice.
This is going to be difficulty 9. Oh!
8.
Oh! You recognize the house as being one towards the southwest of the Reach. It's a Reacher house. You can't quite put your name the name to it, but you definitely recognize the heraldry. And as I described, it's the kind of black and gold quarters. In the gold quarters, there is a black flower, and in the black quarters, there is a silver cup.
So many pretty fucking colors. He kind of like rubs his eyes a little bit.
Yeah, there's a godly entourage with them, and like,
oh yeah, we have more mouths to feed. Wonderful, great
servants and stuff.
Noble bastards. All right, fine. Just make sure that they don't start anything. And has the Lady Mara come out of her room like at all? At all?
Virginia.
Mara hasn't. She's gone in. I imagine the only thing she has opened that door for is to... I imagine that at some point one of her ladies that she may have, or that's been assigned to her in the castle, may have knocked, possibly at Marzia's request, even for someone to check on her.
I think you would have a small folk handmaid that has been a camp follower on the...
Yeah, I imagine there'd be someone, whether this girl has taken it upon herself or because Marzia has asked, will go and check on Mara, and she opens the door in tears and just requests more wine. That's the only. That is the if you've been in the corridor that her room is on, that is the only thing you have seen her open that door for, to ask for it and to collect it. She doesn't even let the girl step in the room.
Fee, are you drinking to excess?
Not to excess. I think there's a bit of Mara that in her mind she decides that she's going to, but can't quite bring herself to get in that state. It's one of those things where you pour a glass of wine with the intention of drinking it in anger and upset, and she just ends up mostly kind of playing with it in her hand and sipping on it and putting it down. It's become something for her to fiddle with and kind of look into as something to hold. Mostly because it's the only thing that she doesn't want to throw across a room right now in upset and anger. You might even hear it occasionally as maybe she has picked up something and thrown it. Or the sobbing, especially when she first goes in, the uncontrollable sobbing that even like covering herself with pillows isn't stopping. But otherwise she hasn't come out except to ask for wine and collect it.
Okay. Well, Lady Marzia is coming down the corridor where I'm guarding, right?
You're heading into the Great Hall, right? I think.
If that's where I left my son, then that is where I'm going to go get him from.
I think that's where you left your son.
He is actually going to sort of hold up his shield, not completely blocking your way, but sort of as a point of caution.
What is it?
New guests. Guests which bear your colors. Well, the colors of... She is your grandmother, is she not?
She is Lady Crane.
Well, seems like there's more than one. And a Lord Crane. And don't know who that tart is, but indeed.
Does no one watch the road around Fox Hollow?
To be fair, most of the couriers are dead. At least by all accounts.
To be fair, you stand before me, sir. Get yourself on the road and watch it yourself.
If that is what you wish.
Was I unclear?
I'm shit at watching roads. You would rather me here.
Go. Now.
He's gonna just shield down, shield in front. Fine, sure. Watch the road. Fine. Yeah, that's what I do now. That's what guards...
Silently watch the damn road. She's just gonna blast past you. She is so done.
Here I am trying to find words. Just kind of, again, just in his head, like having multiple conversations as he's going down to now watch the road. Sure.
Standing proudly in the Great Hall, in your Maiden House colours, is the unmistakable shape and face of your father, Lord Johann Crane. He stands tall, and still has the slight athleticism of his younger self. But his white short hair kind of gives away his age. It falls about, almost fully covers a furrowed, anguished face. Round amber eyes set appealingly within their sockets watch discreetly in your direction between the messy strands of hair. And there's something obscure about him. Perhaps it's his kind of decency in the way he holds himself, or perhaps it's a history of tournaments with no victories. But nonetheless, people tend to take pride in knowing him as a friend while helping him out in any way they can. You know him to have been courageous in his youth, and never one to back down from a tilt, but in his middle age has become cruel and bitter. Next to him, your lady mother stands, less proud, with long blonde hair that parts to reveal a lean, lived-in face. Her bright, pale brown eyes, large under a soft brow, gaze around at other people's feet, as she glances up occasionally to get a sense of her surroundings, but ignorant of the gaze of others. Her smooth complexion complements her slim nose and leaves a gracious impression.
As a point, because I think Briar is kind of sensing something is up, he's going to watch the road from the entrance to the Great Hall. Like, he's not going out on the road and like standing out in the middle of it. He's just keeping one eye on the road and one eye within.
Sure. You're basically back on door duty.
Yeah, pretty much.
from this morning.
That's where I was.
Sure, yeah.
I assume somebody else is there and it's like, can you just leave? Just
snap
at him and just wave him off.
What?
Go.
And he grabs one of the carriage train, like the followers, the camp followers from the thing, like puts an arm around her waist and like walks down the ramp with her.
Look busier than that. Just kind of call after him and arms folded. Ready.
Sure. Okay. Marzia, your father greets you. My lady, Greenmont. And he bows. And your mother doesn't say anything but curtsies.
My Lord Crane. Lady Crane. And Marzia is bowing deep.
Your mother's gaze finally works its way up towards your eyes, your face. And she takes a step towards you and holds your face in one of the palms of one of her hands, and she strokes your cheek. And she goes to embrace you, to kiss you on the cheek, and to give you your mother's embrace.
Marzia is uncertain, not used to this from her mother, but kind of will slightly stiffly return the gesture, caught off guard by this on a whole new level of strange things that have happened today. Mother.
Your mother sheepishly smiles at you. Her gaze drops again, meets yours very briefly, and then drops back to the floor. Your father has a sterner greeting for you. Marzia, I hear your boys have been born.
Thanks, Mum. Needed this.
It's the day wine. Greenmont
Did
day
you hear that? I
wine.
was just told don't kick it over.
Nice.
There's a whole bottle of wine down by my foot right now.
Nice. All right.
Thanks, Mum. Right, sorry.
The Greenmonts are going to start day drinking.
My apologies. I've been remiss. Please allow me to introduce you. Bryn Greenmont. And she'll go to the crib and pick up her son, give a nod to Braith, who I imagine has been watching him, or one of the lady servants if Braith's occupied elsewhere.
Yeah, is that a nod to bugger off, or is that a nod to kind of
Just
like...
thanks for watching my son.
All right, cool. You know.
Hope he's been good.
Yeah. All right.
We'll catch up later. It's been a day. Picks up her son, and then will kind of proudly turn to present it to her mother and father, and do like a formal introduction as if Bryn is an adult being introduced.
So, your mother and father don't like overtly react. You might expect some pride, some cooing, stuff like that. They look down at this baby over the kind of bridge of their noses, or like down their noses at him. And then your father asks, "The news, my lady, was twins."
Yes, the news was correct. His Grace, Prince Maekar, has taken Whelan for an education at Summer Hall.
Your mother and father look at each other, and then your father looks back at you. In place of your daughter-in-law, I should expect.
Yes. And as an honour to House Greenmont, it will be a new friendship in the Reach.
And there is news of this birth being born of magic.
Magic. Twins have a habit of causing a stir in the small folk. Particularly ones born in woods.
Woods?
Yes, father.
The Red Mountains is not known for its woods.
Greenmont keep a small one. A reminder of the first men. Their mother and our house's mother were sisters, if my recollection of history is correct.
Born.
What magic is there in the Reach now? Only that brought by dragons from Valyria, I believe. And even that, I think, is more rumor than fact, surely, Father.
Your father looks down slightly at your mother, who is keeping her gaze down at people's feet, and he then turns to you and says, "News brought from this house, brought to your lady mother's attention by a maester of this house?"
Greenmont has no maester.
"Perhaps we were wrong," he says as he looks down at her again. "But the letter was truly written, born of blood magic."
Well, your grandsons were delivered by your mother, so perhaps we should ask Lady Rosanna Crane the instance. Or would you prefer to believe rumor, Father?
No, perhaps we should. Okay. This is going to be an intrigue. As you call in for Lady Rosanna, Jason, you want to pitch in quick?
Yeah. Briar is paying attention. He doesn't give a shit about the road anymore. And he's going to go further into the hall.
Sure, sure.
Specifically at the Lord Crane for changing his tone.
Sure. You step in through the hallway and then into just inside the Great Hall. All right. So there is no animal companion bonuses here in play. She's away.
Doesn't affect my socials.
No. But I reckon this is playing on your fear.
But I need to remember my dutiful bonuses
Right.
and my head of house bonuses.
For sure. This is your house, though. So I'm going to let you add your status rank in composure.
Ooh, okay.
I believe it's either like 3 or 4. I don't know which.
My status is 4.
Cool. Add that temporarily to your total composure.
Okay, so what did I say was 4?
Yeah.
All right.
There should be a little bonus box in there.
Oh, sweet. Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah?
Mhm.
I don't want to fiddle your sheet in case you're doing stuff.
No.
Cool. And I think that... okay, so... Lord Crane is going to get... so basically, I want to keep these intrigues a bit more one-on-one, because otherwise they get a bit unwieldy, and I don't think the rules are really set up for a whole big group intrigue thing. Lord Crane's going to get basically an assist every round, +1 persuasion tests results from his lady. You've brought Lady Rosanna in here. I think basically if you call on her to present evidence or some deception for you based on your cues, I'll let you essentially kind of have a bit of control over her as an NPC for that. She can grant you some bonuses to your deception, basically like an assist as well, I'd imagine. Alrighty.
By the way, curse does not affect my intrigue, James. Curse affects my destiny points.
Although Tom said Zoom chat audio died, is that true?
I think that's Virginia's. Right? Or is everyone's audio died?
No, you're all good.
Okay.
Oh, just for V. Oh no. I mean, don't leave because then people might go in different windows. But sure,
That's all right. Everyone knows who we are by now.
I know,
We're working
right?
on it.
I'll try and figure it out. Technical difficulties. We need like elevator music. Okay. All right. Sure. Romy status. Make sure you add 2 to the result. Status breeding.
All right. The important note is that because my dutiful actually affects you, it's the opposition loses 1 test dice to persuasion checks for influence, convince, intimidate, and seduce.
Yeah.
Not that I think my father is going to seduce me, but that's one of the options.
Well, that so actually that's it calls out the influence action. That's interesting. Is that explicit or is that?
That's explicit.
Is that the wording? Oh, that's cool. Okay. So
that's 10 total for Marzia.
11, no, 12, 13 total for your father. Okay. Made to influence. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Fabby dabby dozy. All right. Okay. Cool. So he is going to go first. I need to pick the technique.
Need to decide on disposition.
I know my disposition.
Okay.
So yeah. I mean, I won't dictate it, but bear in mind, like, these are your parents.
I am aware these are my parents.
Faux show.
And I'm aware which parent it is as well.
Cool. All right, you know it.
With.
You know it. I love it. I can trust you. I can trust you. Okay. Figure out your objective. I imagine maybe, I don't know, maybe it's to deceive him here. I don't know, but we can play this fairly open if you like or whatever. All right, cool. So it's you and him. And... okay. I think this is going to be... I'm actually going to consider this first round. As he looks down at Bryn. And it's pretty quiet. Leaving you to speak. He's quite comfortable in that silence. Like, I imagine being... and you knowing him for being quite courageous as a person before, he is actually quite confident. He just, takes his time, doesn't stutter, is comfortable with silences. Yeah, he just takes his time. So I'm going to keep my 2 bonus dice there for next round.
So she's going to attempt an influence.
Sure.
I'm sorry that both were not here to greet you and that I was unprepared for your arrival. It's been a busy day. A host just returned from Dawn. Lord Alistair Oakhart is here. I imagine the involvement of our houses in this quarrel in Dawn has stirred a great many rumours in Highcart Garden, as people have many reasons to want to support or damage my reputation.
Well, that will at least please Lord Costain. I believe he's here for that very reason, to check up on the sortie, see what's going on behalf of Highgarden.
I imagine so, and I imagine that my being declared regent of the house was possibly unpopular for those who would like a seat in the Red Mountains. But it is my seat, and this is my son.
Indeed. Would you like to roll, Charlie?
I would like to roll... I guess this is kind of a charm. It's either going to be charm or convince, like, as a technique.
I thought there was a bit of charm in there.
Yeah, I was leaning towards charm, but I didn't know if you were going to take it as charm. Okay.
That's okay.
So...
you can pick it at the top of your round of the exchange, so that also helps flavour your up here if you want. But yeah, for sure.
So this is an influence. So I need to roll. Use technique to cause damage, and it's charm, so it's persuasion rank. So I need to roll my, I guess it's deception, right? See if it succeeds. Are
you honestly trying to make him like you better, or are you trying to just kind of like placate him and be like, no, look at me, like me, but I don't really care? that would be
No, she
deception as
cares.
opposed
She
to.
wants her dad
This is,
to
well, this is persuasion
return
charm
and accept her son.
for
Okay,
sure.
cool. All right, so persuasion. I don't have any charm dice. Oh god, what's I'm gonna use lucky and re-roll that
Sure.
because I don't want that to be my opening roll. It's better. Plus
Yeah, add the modifiers based on your deception.
3, so 15.
Is 1 degree of success. What is your persuasion rank?
My persuasion rank is 3? 3. Yes, 3.
Cool, okay. He says, well, actually, so pick your technique maybe for this round, with what you want to go with. And, okay, I'm going to pick mine. You can change your disposition up or down 1 step if you want to. James is trying to cheer, but failing in chat. So I've already got 2 bonus dice for this.
Just as a slight point, what you rolled for persuasion, Charlie, did you add modifiers based on your disposition and all that?
I did that afterwards, yes. That's why I ended up at 15. Thank you, though.
Right, yeah.
We do forget that all the time.
We do,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, there he is. Gil goes 300 bits. James, let me know what you want to do.
I wonder.
Give me a bonus dice, maybe? Bonus dice. All right, cool. But yes, let me add that on. Yeah, but I can't think of the RP right now. Your father basically starts pressing on the kind of the little factual bits of like, well, if we got the letter and it said this, and I can't quite remember exactly what it said, but there was definitely blood magic in it. And like, so what is this, and why would someone send us this letter if it wasn't true? I mean, this must be something that happened, and it gives me great concern that it did happen.
It gives me great concern that you've heard such a rumor, Father. The fact is, the twins were born in Godswood here at Greenmont. That is the truth. And that incident gave Lady Lana Greenmont suspicions, I am sure. She was unhappy with me in a number of decisions I have made. Unhappy, no doubt, because really this house was more hers than mine. She's Greenmont blood and I'm not. Her brother just died. Rosanna Crane was here and helping me. Mara was here and I fear we neglected her, did not give her enough respect. Perhaps I should have consulted her more than I did. But I did not have much choice in where the babies decided to be born. That matter lay in the hands of the gods, as all matters lay. I am not so arrogant that I would assume to have any control over that, nor any influence. Believe me, Lord Tarly and Peake were here, and being elsewhere was not my intention. I have made some amends with Lady Lana, and she has done us the honor of accompanying Whelan to Summer Hall. She has entrusted me here at Greenmont. And I work so hard to keep this house. And there is much to be done to restore its respect and reputation. Much damage has been done at Highgarden, I am sure. Damage not helped by rumors and misunderstanding. Deception convince?
For sure.
With a bonus die, like, come on.
2 bonus dice. 2 bonus dice for that. And bear in mind, does your fear give you a penalty at this point?
Yes, -1.
Penalty dice. So you can add the bonus dice, but you have to take away the penalty die, and that's all in the prompts. I am going to roll with my 2 bonus dice from the consider, and this is influence as well. So I'll go first, but It was convinced, and it's an influence thing, so I'm -1 dice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. No, oh, cancel. That's not quite it, right? Is it?
And thanks, Pope, for the destiny point that allowed me to get dutiful. By the way,
It was very, very fitting, to be fair. 11, up to a 16.
Versus my intrigue defense. Is 2 degrees of success. I think I'm on a 10, so it's a success, and then another 1 on top.
Yeah, 2 degrees. So convince its will. 4 off your composure, minus your disposition rating.
Okay. Oh yeah, because it soaks. That's right.
Yeah. So your DR soaks some of that.
Okay, got it. I've got it.
Cool.
Cool.
And your action.
And so that's going to be deception with 2 bonus dice and 1 penalty dice. 4.
We got this. Plus your modifiers.
Did that roll right? Yeah, it did.
Plus your modifiers.
Plus it was deception, so that's 3.
Okay.
Because she was lying. She knows what she did in that woods.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Most of it was true, but the important bit was a lie.
That doesn't hit his intrigue defense, I'm afraid. Okay. Long story short, I'm just going to do the action here. He's going to do it again. I've not got the bonus dice this time. So he presses more on the fact that he's been around and that babies don't just fall out with women. There is time to get somewhere. He questions. You said the gods were the ones who brought this child. The old or the new?
In terms of proximity, has he moved closer to Marzia?
No.
Good. Briar's leaning on his shield, just staring daggers at this dude.
It took me 2 years to fall pregnant, Father, and I pray to the old and the new. Both are here in the mountains. And I will not disrespect a god. Grandmother can tell you how quickly it all happened. And the children were early. I believe it was the stress of Peak and Tali and a host camping at Fox Hollow. And of members of this house being far away in unknown places and facing unknown dangers. Of my husband dying. These things contributed. Deception convince, because that's all I've got.
For sure. All right. Let me roll my convince. -1 dice. No bonus for now. 15.
Yes.
With 2 degrees. Yeah,
2
compared
degrees.
to your intrigue defense. So 4 again. Minus whatever your DR is.
Do I add my convince dice to my deception check?
So you can, yes. If you don't have any bonus dice in act or bluff, you can use the bonus dice you have from your actual persuasion specialties.
Okay, I didn't do that last time, but I will do that this time.
That's cool. If you're good at actually charming someone, you can also kind of fake it.
Yes.
You get what I mean, right?
Yeah. All right. So 1 bonus dice from my convince and 1 penalty dice from my fear. 4 minus 3. No, 3. Let's go 3. Do I get? Hang on, and I get a +1 from Rosanna with her assist, so it's 4. It's 4, Sam.
That's still not as going to be as intrigue defense, I'm afraid.
But in good news, I have a lot of composure, so we're going to be here a very long time.
For sure. Let's see if I want to do anything else. He's actually gonna. He is gonna retarget this round. What do you want to do?
She was gonna do the same. She was gonna see like how this is like affecting her father and what he's looking for.
Oh, a retarget off.
Retarget off. Let's go.
I don't get any penalty dice from your dutiful or anything, right?
Nope.
Or
it's
anything.
only the influence thing.
Anything else you have? No.
Nope.
I'm gonna use this penalty. I'm gonna use this bonus dice James gave me.
Okay.
No penalty. Boom. What's your passive deception?
My passive deception is 8.
What is your current disposition towards your father?
Friendly.
Oh.
You should see how she feels about her mother.
All right. Oh, all right. I'm gonna add you to his notable NPCs.
The meta reason it's friendly is they basically dumped her at Greenmont for 4 years.
Yeah, fun times.
So,
yeah.
That's it. It's the same as it was when Rosanna arrived.
Cool.
She was also unfriendly. She's not amiable.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Okay. Roll your awareness test for me. Empathy applies.
So it's awareness. Where is my awareness? There. I have no empathy.
I have no empathy.
Let me tell you, I have no empathy.
Well, yeah, but what about Marzia?
Does penalty dice affect my awareness test? I think so, right? It affects everything.
Let's check the fear.
Like an injury.
The fear.
It's the only one of my like trait things I don't actually have a note for, other than -1. Yeah. That's all I've written down for it.
So fear is when in the presence of the thing you fear, you take a -1 dice on all tests.
All tests, yeah. Okay.
Each round on your turn, roll 1d6. On a 6, you overcome your fear and lose this penalty. I don't like that. I like that you should maybe
have it all the time.
You should pass. No, you should make a free will check. I think you should make a free will test at the top of every turn, right? Okay. So
I'll make it after this one then.
Okay. I don't know what the difficulty would be. I think something like 15. Like it's hard to get over what you fear, right?
Yeah. All right, cool. So I'll do the. What was I doing? An awareness test. Yeah. I'll do that first, and then we'll do it at the top of the next round.
Cool.
Because I'd totally forgotten I could get away from my fear. So 8.
You do not get a read on him. Okay. This in his next round is going to be. So I'm going to pick my technique. What was your So your last technique? Because I get that 2 from retarget as well as the +1 dice.
The one before that was convince.
Yeah. Okay. Convince deception.
Correct.
He does step forward at this point and starts talking down to his daughter as if she were younger. He says, "You lied to me like you have before. When you were a young girl. A foolish girl. But now you are the lady of a house, and I would expect more from that. What happened in the Godswood? What did your grandmother do?" As he intimidates.
I'm going to roll the will test because that's going to affect in my head, it affects the role play as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So will.
Difficulty 15.
Does dedication give me any bonus dice for this?
Courage would.
Okay, what's that? 13, but technically that would be -1 dice, so that's actually a 12.
Okay.
Because the fear, I guess, would affect the test.
Yeah, for sure.
That's 12, so she fails.
Yeah, so you're still gripped by it. I think it is your father starting to bear down on you a little.
As a note,
Sure.
as he does that,
Mhm.
Briar will immediately pick up his shield and just move forward, hand on hilt of blade, behind the shield.
All right. If you want to switch to combat at the end of a round, you let me know. I think that was a cat. Okay. Cool. Marzia.
Father, please. This is my house. I welcome you as guests.
If you would lie to me like a little girl, I will treat you like a child. What happened? Tell us the truth, so that we might root out this evil.
Do you believe the old god's evil?
I do not believe their magics could bring anything just or pure into this world.
Then you should take that up with the old gods. And she's going to withdraw.
Leave the intrigue or withdraw?
I'll leave the intrigue.
Okay. All right.
Because otherwise we're going to be here for ages with you just chipping down my composure.
All right,
And
for sure.
I'd assume that he tries to go after her.
Yeah, he takes a few steps forward.
No. Briar would immediately stand in front of him.
Okay, and you've got your
Shield in
hand
front.
on your blade, on your hilt, right?
No, on the pommel. Resting on the pommel.
He's got his shield up though.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Out of reaction, this is Sir Johan. He actually puts his hand and grips his the hilt of his blade.
Do something stupid. Think you're the first highborn cunt to draw a sword on me? Do something stupid.
Do you think you would be the first lowborn cunt to have died by my blade?
Be the first to beat you.
All right, make me a intimidation check.
I hope I fail this.
There will be no blood spilling Foxhollow today. Can we not?
I ain't got nothing in intimidation, but that is an 11.
It's passive will. All right, he lets Marzia go, and he steps back to his wife. Marzia, have you taken Bryn with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in her arms, so I just like he's coming with whether he wants to or not.
Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, he's not got any choice.
She's not going to dump him on the way out. She's going to just keep moving.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, but then Briar, Lord Crane, will move away. He'll basically get his wife and head on out towards the front door.
Disappointing. Just whisper under my breath and go attend to Marzia.
Marzia is on her way to Mara's room.
Yeah, you'll get there before him. He's not going to call out.
Mara, I need your help.
And it's a few minutes, well, not a few minutes, but a minute or so before the door's even opened. And when the door opens, you can see there is Mara. There are red wine stains down the front of her dress in places. She's not drunk. She does have a glass of wine in her hand, and you can see where she's clearly spilt it as she's been pacing the room, just holding it. And behind her on one of her side tables, there is still a mostly full pitcher of wine that she requested earlier, and her eyes are raw red from where she's been crying. And as soon as it takes her a second to realize it's you as she blinks through, because her eyes are kind of swollen and like
Mara.
She opens the door and ushers you in, puts the glass down on a side table and shuts it behind her.
And Marzia looks you over and immediately clocks those stains. You need to get changed. Lord and Lady Crane are here. Someone told them what happened in the God's Wood, and we need to convince them it's not true.
Who would?
We don't have time to worry about that now.
Okay, yes. You're still holding the baby, right?
Yep.
Mara will, like, in that minute, she's kind of panicking. She starts trying to undo her dress, and then it clicks. She comes over, strokes her brother's cheek, and gives him a kiss on the forehead, and kind of tries to hug him while holding you for a moment, and says, "Put him down, help me get out of this." And you can see she's struggling to undo that dress.
And Marzia will carefully set the baby down on the bed next to the cushion so it doesn't roll anywhere. Babies are wont to do.
Oh, there's already like an indent where Mara's been lying and crying into it. It's already prepared.
Go into the soggy indent, child. Good. Marzia hurries and she'll help you as best she can with getting I imagine it's like an overdress that we've got to get off
but she can't like undo the fastens at the back. She's
pulling at these ribbons to get this overdress off.
Yeah, and as soon as you get it off, she's opening up. I imagine at some point somebody's brought her trunk to her, and she's going through.
Or there's like an old dress in here or something. Yeah,
I imagine she's going to pick something that is definitely in the Reach fashion. She's not going to go for one of her dresses that are more Dornish inspired by what her mother would have worn. And she kind of throws it over the top. She'll take a moment to sort out her face and pat on her makeup.
You know I lied.
What do you need me to do, Marzia? Do you want me to talk to them? Do you want me to...
We need them. We need allies.
Well, I was with you. What does it matter? What can they do anyway, Marzia? This is your seat.
It's not about the seat. It's about what they tell Highgarden. It's about what they tell their friends. It's about what they believe. We need their help. We have no friends left, Mara.
They would disgrace their own daughter?
No, but they would protect themselves. We are dangerous to them. You need to convince them that we are more valuable than we are dangerous. I can't do that. He knows I lied about the cat at Red Lake, and he knows I'm lying now. But you're persuasive, Mara. You know how to talk to people.
I know how to talk to people when I can tell them...
Offer him something. He won't take it from me, but maybe from you.
Offer him what?
We can make good swords. Good steel. Offer him something from Oakheart. I don't know. I need your help, Mara. If I knew what to do, I would have done it.
And he knows you lied. You're sure?
He knows that I believe I did something. Deception is a Greenmont gift, not mine.
I've never been quite the liar, Marzia. I tend to use the truth.
Can you help or not?
I'll do what I can, but you understand I can't help you if I can't protect myself. I'll see what I can do. I'll try. Let me talk to Alistair. Let me see if there's something Oakheart can offer.
Okay.
But if I go straight to your father now...
Alliance would be good. Don't go to my father. Go to my mother. Trust me.
I will, but if I go now, they'll suspect. Let me talk to Alistair. Let me see what Oakheart can offer. I'm not in a position to offer anything from House Greenmont.
We have to stop them leaving then. Briar. And she hurries out of the door. She's left baby Bryn on the bed for now.
Mara like grabs her skirts and follows you. Like will pick up her brother and follow you out. I imagine like one of her handmaids has probably showed up and she will be like, take the baby to the nursery.
Briar will be sort of stage offside to another hollow heart, and will be saying, that wonderful gentleman even spits in the direction of Fox Hollow, or looks at Marzia the wrong way.
That's Lady
Make
Greenmont
sure
to
you know where he is. Make sure you remind him where he is. He kind of straightens up, but not really. Like, he's kind of winging it at this point because he doesn't really know how
I imagine
to
what happens
guards.
is Marzia is trying to take a shortcut out of the house to hit the road before, the crane's going out the front door. So she's going down like a servant's corridor.
Yeah.
And she rounds the corner, not expecting Briar to be there, nearly walks into him. She's clumsy as fuck.
Mara nearly goes into the back of you because she's following you.
Oh, come on! Just both against the shield.
Briar, you need to stop them from leaving.
Already on it, I suppose.
Without your sword.
Go now, please, sir.
It's not my sword.
Take Babelbrook if you can find him.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Mara just grabs this hedge knight and just like starts turning him round and pushing him.
I can use my own legs. I grabbed the other hollow heart as we're walking. Get this stupid old man and go. Runs, trying to stop whoever.
Sure.
Mara, I'll meet back here in a moment. There's something else that I'm in the middle of doing.
But what do you want me to...
Talk to your husband.
I'll find Alistair. And that's what she'll go and do.
Marzia goes in search of her son. She needs the prop.
She's Mara probably would have said to you that she hasn't just like left the baby in the room. She'll say that he's been taken to the nursery.
We're going to cut to Oliver. Sat sunning himself in Marzia's solar. Resting, not having the bumps of the car and the travel to ache his back and pain his stomach, his side. But in steps a slightly portly gentleman, middle-aged, with that receding, light, sandy hair that goes down into the ginger chops of this lord in front of you. He looks around the solar, and with the colours, the quarter colours, black and gold, he looks at you, having peered around the room, and says, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I was expecting Lady Marzia."
Sir Oliver has taken off his tunic and stripped off his dirty, grimy bandages, and he's been, as he sits on the windowsill, what's the light like? Like, what time of day is it again?
I reckon we've definitely got into like some lunchy afternoon time.
He's just kind of like letting the sun come through the window over him as he ties fresh wraps around his wound, kind of across his body so that it hits his side. And he's just finishing tying those new bindings and tugs them tight. And he looks up to the man. Does he recognize this man?
Roll me a cunning memory test, please.
I mean, I have 2 wounds, so I can't remember anything. Oh, maybe I will. Let's see. Hey, a 6.
All right. You remember him. I don't think you ever met him, but you remember him presenting a wedding gift to Lady Mara at the tourney that you rode in against your brother at Oakhart, at Old Oak. And so this is a lord. This is a Reacher house for sure. And it's like Briar kind of got. It's from the south west in the Reach, somewhere near Old Town. You're sure, but you've definitely seen this guy before. and you know that him and Mara have spoken for sure.
Okay. He just sort of shares a small smile with the man, and he says, "Oh, I believe that Lady Marzia should be returning soon. I am Lord Oliver Ironwood, Master of Arms of this house. Is there anything that I could do for you, Master?" And he kind of trails off there, expecting the man to give his name.
Lord Mathos. Lord
Mathos.
Lord Mathos Costain.
Ah,
He bows shallowly, with a tiny bit of flair. It's quite a precise bow. This is obviously a very courtly gentleman.
is there anything that I might do for you, my lord?
Actually, yes, funnily enough. News travels fast around the Reach, faster than any raven sometimes, and it has not been unheard of that your name is spoken in relation to certain battles in the Red Mountains.
He kind of coughs and smiles, and he says, "Well, I expected news would travel quickly with how many houses were there."
Exactly why I am here. To understand what's happened on behalf of his Lord Tyrell and the Crown.
Oh, I see. Well, please. And he just gives the man a quick up and down with his eyes. Does he appear armed?
Not at all. He's got like a knife in his belt, but like that's like most noble people go around with like a dagger.
Please come in. Have a seat.
He'd sit in like a guest seat that is opposite the desk and is opposite where Lord Greenmont or Lady Greenmont would sit. And he sits quite carefully. He tucks his feet at the ankle together, crossing them, and with both hands clasped together in a little arch, and rests them on his lap as he sits.
And Oliver just kind of shifts a few inches along the windowsill just so he's a little bit closer, and he turns his leg and holds his side and leans down on one knee and just kind of watches the man for a moment. And then he says, "What is it that you have heard? Who has relayed information to you, my lord?"
No one has really relayed any information to me. I've heard it rather through the grapevines of this great kingdom. I was there, however, when Lord Peake, Lord Tarley, declared their intentions to head down into the Red Mountains to quell whatever Dornish raids were besieging the southern Reacher lords.
Well, that must have been a very interesting conversation.
As interesting as politics ever is.
And did they have House Tyrell's blessing in their endeavor?
Oh no, but that is not entirely unheard of. You see, in the Reach, he speaks quite condescendingly at this point and describes how there is a relationship between the lords of this kingdom and their liege lord have always enjoyed a rich and delicate balance of power. See, some first men alliances between the houses have always established some checks and balances against the Lord Paramount. And so it is not without the majority of his lords that the Lord Paramount can order very much in this kingdom.
I know all about the first men.
I'm sure you do, Lord Ironwood.
I was at the battle with House Ironwood's army.
Really?
I came not as part of their treaty. I did not expect Peake and Tarley and Oakhart to be there. I came simply to remove the bandits from the lands neighboring Dorne.
Don, I'm going to let you go first in this intrigue. I like it. That's your reward for the roleplay. I need you to roll for me. Well, I need you to pick your action, basically. Deception. If you want to influence, most likely. But pick your technique, which, if you're going to go for something, there will be a deception roll, but you can obviously use a technique from your persuasion specialties if you've got some bonus dice in those.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, simple influence is trying to deal with his composure. Otherwise, it could be a different action depending on what you want to look at and pick from the other options we've got there, probably on the sheet that you're trying to grab in front of you now. Otherwise, just very quickly, I assume your starting disposition would be roughly at indifferent, having never met the guy. That can alter up or down a little bit depending on whether you consider him like an actual ally or an actual kind of enemy, or from an enemy like house. The relationship between Dawn and the Reach might play a factor in your opinion as well.
And let me ask you this, because I don't have my cheat sheet up. House Costain, during the Blackfyre Rebellion, they were loyal to the Targaryen throne, correct?
No.
No?
No.
But they've since
they've since fallen in with House Tyrell after the end of the rebellion. Like they've become more aligned.
Well, that wouldn't strictly be true necessarily. You don't know for a fact.
Okay.
But
he's just claiming to be here.
Everyone's loyal. Everyone's loyal to House Tyrell.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would say indifferent then at this point, because he doesn't really know the guy or what his intentions are. And based on what, the conversation we just had, I think he'd just be trying to convince him that House Ironwood was not part of whatever else happened there, that they just kind of found each other in the heat of battle.
Oh, for sure. Okay. So, is this convince?
Uh-huh.
And is it an influence? Is it test to actually damage his composure?
Yeah. I'll say influence.
You're going to take a -1 dice to that.
For my wounds?
No, in addition to your wounds.
Oh, well then it's a 0.
Okay.
Why? What's giving me the -1 dice? Out of curiosity.
A benefit he has.
So that's a 0.
Okay. He smiles. And doesn't say very much. Takes a moment, but then says, "Are you in any pain, sir?"
Nothing that I will not survive. Do your feet ache from your travels all this way?
Oh, all the time. What's your passive deception?
4.
Okay. Well, what is your current disposition towards him? Indifferent still, presumably. Mm-hmm. Cool. Your last technique was convince, deception, and I got the +1 dice. Keep dice now.
Is it deception though? Because he's telling the truth.
That you just happened to be in the same place as Peake and Tarly. Yeah, it's not quite the whole.
I mean,
truth,
he didn't know they were going to be there.
Well, no. You are holding things back, sir. I am the final arbiter of deception.
No, that's
and
fine.
You know my rule. Any hint of it, and it's deception.
Yeah, Sam's just a hard ass on this one.
Sauce. You got to be truthful to be truthful. Charlie, take notes. For your game. No, for your game.
Oh, okay. I was like, I play by the rules. I tell you when I'm lying.
Hell no. I'm just saying, like, you can treat me like a hard ass when you when I'm playing.
Just you wait, Sam.
Well, I'm gonna take dice of deception. I'm not gonna be an idiot. Okay.
Hey
cool.
now.
All right. Cool. All right. And we got to keep this. We got to keep this above the meta. All right. So yeah, he is going to make inquiries. Having come upon Lords Peake and Tarly, what was their force and Did you parley with them? What were their intentions? Anything like that at all? Did you manage to speak to them?
Of course, I was not able to speak with them before the battle, but I did parley with Lord Alistair of Oakhart. He ordered me and my men to stand down, and I told him then, no. We were there rightfully, legally, and we would capture Lord Blackmont, who had taken roost in the tower. My army struck first, and theirs came behind us.
Vulture's Roost, indeed, as I have also heard. This is where the raiders were encamped, was it not?
Yes. They were well trained. I believe men who fought in the war, who had given up allegiance to Lord and House. Blackmont was leading them. It was a vicious battle, but we defeated the Vultures, House Ironwood. And then Lord Peake claimed Lord Blackmont's capture for his own. He took him to the top of the tower. I followed. Peake was angry. I wish I knew why. I think he has always been angry. He shoved Blackmont from the top of the tower to his death. I tried to stop him, and he tried to push me from the tower too. I remember when I was a younger man, I won some tourneys, though I never considered myself a true tourney knight, my lord. But I faced Peake several times, and each time he bested me. I considered him one of the greatest and most honorable knights in the Seven Kingdoms. This man at the top of Vulture's Roost, it was not the same man.
I remember
He was
now.
weaker.
You are the exile out of Dawn, of course.
Yes. Lord Peake is dead. I killed him myself.
Well, well.
And he sits back a little bit and holds his side after he says this. And he's reading Target. He's trying to figure out his reaction to Peake's death, because in Oliver's mind, that might tell him where this lord falls on the side of the brewing conflict.
All right. I'm going to go first. I'm going to... Let me just check the techniques and stuff. Gone too far again now. Sorry, folks. I closed the book. I should have just kept it open. That would have been much easier. There we go. Okay. Although, yeah. Actually, so I'll just do this manually. Actually, with the because I got the test die from the retarget. (26) versus your intrigue.
What is that?
Versus your intrigue defense.
Yeah, I mean that will beat my intrigue defense. So that is, let's see, 4 degrees. Can you get 5 degrees of success, or is 4 the top?
Just 4 is the top.
Yeah, so that's 4 degrees of success.
4 degrees of success. Okay, so that will be. I was convinced that would be will rank. 16 composure damage. Minus your disposition rating, which presumably is 4 because of your disposition.
So 12.
Yeah.
So I will take a point of frustration.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have to.
Sure. So that reduces your, because it's not quite like a wound. That will reduce the composure damage that you take by your will rank.
Yep.
All good. All right. If you're still in, we're still going.
Yeah. So that was a retarget, so I need to do that retarget, right?
Yeah, with -3 dice.
Oh, his ability, his benefit gives him defense against retarget as well?
No, but you've just taken a point of frustration. It's -1 dice to all your persuasion tests and stuff. Oh, okay. So...
Just deception and persuasion, not awareness, right?
Yeah, right. You're right. You're totally right.
Okay. I mean, it's still a far shot. I'm spending my last keep dice because this is kind of make or break for me here.
Okay.
I have to hit this. If I don't hit this, then I can't possibly have a shot in this.
I love it.
Thing.
I love it.
11.
Against his passive deception? No. Sorry, Father.
Okay.
Is that with modifiers?
Oh, wait. Yeah, good. I don't have any modifiers.
You won't get any from the awareness test, just the persuasion and deception tests.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Afraid it's just not enough. So I'm gonna hand wave this, because otherwise we're gonna be here for another round and then I'm gonna win. So
don't do it. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
Please.
Fine. I'm sure that's not the way that Peake would have wanted to go. He's a very strong-headed man, bull-headed man, some might say.
He died fighting a worthy foe. For all else there is to say about Gormund Peake, it is not the worst way.
Oh, and I have seen you fight, my friend, believe me. This is all very interesting.
And Oliver shifts another inch along the window, just another one, and still leaning over and holding his side, just kind of looks up at the man, squints his eyes discerningly, and he says, I am sick, and it has been a long travel, my lord. Let us not mince words. You are here for a reason. Who is it that you serve?
Why, I serve Lord Tyrell. Directly, I was ordered here by Lord Highgarden. It's Lord Steward.
And what is it that you will tell them when you return?
I would tell them that Dornish have sorted out their own problem. That they might find an ally with Sir Oliver Ironwood. Is that what you'd like me to tell them?
Igaro's quiet for a moment and turns his ear, looks out the window, and then looks back and says, Where are the others? Did you travel here alone?
I travelled here with Lord and Lady Crane. A small entourage of carriage followers.
I see.
I believe they are here to try and reconnect with their daughter, who has been on some hard times. The court is aware. Are you okay, Lord Ironwood?
Yes. Oliver jumps towards the man and goes for his knife. I'm ending the intrigue and moving it to combat.
Switch to combat. All right, son. Fair. All right. Okay. I need you to roll me an agility test, please. Your -2 penalty dice will apply from your I think this is quickness as well is the specialty for this. Did I spend that bonus dice from earlier? I think I did. Still got it in my screen, but I'm sure I spent it. Help? Did I? I can't remember.
I don't think you did.
You don't think I did?
I know you've used bonus dice, but I don't remember using a test dice.
No, I've got a bonus die. I think James is about to donate another one.
James, don't you dare. Down.
I'm not going to use his bonus dice for the quickness, to be fair. Oh, no, he's given one. Yeah, okay. Bonus dice. For my quickness. No penalty. I think no penalty. Let me check his...
What is amazing me is we have all the non-intrigue characters today doing intrigue really hard, really badly, because we're not playing the meta to win.
Right. Okay. Oof, that was cheeky. Okay. He jumps back. And he falls back to the doorway, flinging open the door. And he says, "My Lord Ironwood, what are you doing?" And he is going to... So that was like his move. As he basically dodges out of the way as you go for him. The chair flings to the side, but he then... in like an intimidating manner tries to get you to stop, essentially. I'm going to use this as like an intrigue action within the combat. I'm thinking like he's using that. So now you've got to think he's in the corridor. Like ears and eyes will be on you at this point, or at least on the area, as to see what was going on. Marzia, you hear this. You hear this man cry, "Lord Ironwood, what are you doing?" What's the old for this? Actual bluff. Okay, fair enough. A 19 against your intrigue defense.
Yeah, that'll beat me.
How many degrees?
3.
So that is 12 composure damage.
That takes me out.
Okay.
Takes out my composure.
All right. There is just something about that, like, presence and him having stepped out into the corridor. I absolutely give this to your character. Like, he has manipulated the situation to just avoid, like, he could see what you were about to do. And he's socially orchestrated the situation to be like, now I'm in the corridor, now everyone's present, you can't kill me because then everyone will see. And that just stops you for a minute. You're just like, fuck, he's just... like he's orchestrated this. Marzia, you are very capable of entering at this point, if you so wish.
I think she is walking kind of slowly up the corridor, but she probably arrives in line with the door to see into her room, and like she's just looking at Oliver like, what the hell are you doing? Baby in arm.
Spy. And he nods his head towards the Lord. Mathis? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Mathis Costain. Mm-hmm.
My Lady Marzia, spy is not exactly the right nomenclature for this. I stated my intention truly to Sir Oliver. I am here on behalf of his Lord Tyrell to understand what has happened in the Red Mountains of late, particularly the sortie that the late, and he says late and he looks at Sir Oliver, and he does give him a bit of a blades of the eyes kind of look for a second. The late Sir Gorman Peake and Lord Tyrell. I am no spy as much as I am genuinely an investigatory power here, legitimately.
You must forgive Lord Ironwood. He's just come from a battle. I'm sure with his injuries, he sees enemies everywhere. Probably has a fever where he stands.
I can understand that, and he now looks at Sir Oliver.
Oliver, put down the weapon.
Oh, he doesn't have a weapon.
He didn't quite
he
get
didn't
He's just
get it?
he's just
he didn't get
standing
it.
there
Okay.
holding his side.
So it would be, Oliver, sit down.
He slowly edges down, but there's still this sort of wild look in his eyes. Do not believe him, lady. You cannot believe him, just like we could not believe
Oliver.
Lord Peak.
Oliver.
Sir, you have been most helpful. I do not seek any animosity between us. At all. Please.
My lord, you may not have heard, I'm not sure, when you left. But His Grace visited Fox Hollow and ordered our men back, and I supported such an order. I was not aware the High Garden had not approved of Pikentali's actions.
It is
I'm afraid
it's a very
with my-
discreet matter, my lady. Many do not know.
I'm afraid that with my position here in the Red Mountains, we have been a little cut off from the news. But I assure you, the matter has been resolved in line with Prince Maekar's wishes.
As I am to understand.
Please, when you return to the hall, I've sent our men out to hunt. There should be a great feast soon. And I'm sure you are weary from your travels.
I very much am, and I would very much enjoy your hospitality, providing my safety can be guaranteed.
Of course. There is no war in Fox Hollow. And she is 100% addressing this to Ironwood in the background.
He protests a little bit, and he says, "My lady,
Lord Oliver won't be in attendance. He must rest and heal.
I wish you a speedy recovery, sir."
He kind of takes in a deep breath and rises up a little bit in his seat so that he looks a little bit taller, a little bit less hunched over, and he says, yes, please, forgive me, my lord. I wish you a safe journey home.
I hope I am to stay at least some nights. It has been some travel to get here. And he really is addressing Marzia at this.
You would be most welcome to. Lord Alistair and his lady wife are to stay as well. And with any hope, Lord and Lady Crane. I've been a poor daughter to them, not in proper contact. But I hope you all may have time to get to know the new Greenmont and enjoy Fox Hollow. It is peacetime. It is spring.
Charlie, make me a charm roll towards Mathos. Deception or persuasion, absolutely your choice, but this is you trying to extend your, and, press upon you his, your hospitality.
I believe she's being 100% truthful in what she's saying. She wants people to stay, people to be calm, make amends with people. I didn't think she's being deceptive or hiding anything.
Half-House Hermit, a bonus dice for Charlie. I'm not sure if I saw it. Let's put it on there now. Oh yeah, 300. I saw the glowing.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thanks, Lydia. I saw the glowing unicorn. Here it is. Thank
you very much. So bonus dice. I will use that because I have no bonus dice in charm, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I'll use that, and I'm saying this. So I don't think she's lying about anything. She
Use
doesn't
it.
want Oliver shanking someone in the middle of a hall.
Yeah. So this is because this is a simple intrigue. There's no rounds and stuff, but it is just against his passive will.
So that's a 10.
Okay, cool. I'll register that.
Oh, I don't know if I would have any disposition towards him that would help.
Yeah, so it's not going to affect yours, but it would affect his.
Well, it would add a persuasion modifier, right?
Yeah.
If I was amiable.
Yeah.
Do you think that's fair that I would be amiable towards someone of Lord Tyrell's court?
Quite happy for you to decide. I think maybe so. If so, yeah, absolutely. He seems, upstanding courtly guy. He's here on official business. All the Reacher houses are technically allies of each other.
See, I would argue amiable.
Sure.
That may change, but
Sure.
so that would be a +1, so that'd be 11 total.
Great. Okay, cool. Wunderbar. Okay, cool. All right. Let's jump over to Briar. Mate, I got no idea how you're going to do this. I want to see this been pulled out the bag. This is going to be fun.
Okay, so I'm supposed to just stop the cranes from leaving, right? I'm gonna take a look and make sure that they're not prepping to leave. They're not like, oh no, we're storming off or whatever. First, before I issue any commands.
They're not storming off. They are like outside with their entourage. He is, I don't know, doing the Westerosi equivalent of kind of having a calming cigarette.
Perfectly fine. I'm not gonna do anything. I am waiting for Babblebrook to get here so that I can dump it off on him. Because I know if I show my face, that's gonna make things worse.
All right.
I've dealt with shit contract negotiations before. I'm not gonna be a part of it.
Babblebrook comes rushing out of the main hallway of the main entrance.
Helmet back on and just sort of like...
Doesn't see you to the right-hand side, I guess, but is looking out toward to the scene just to see what's going on.
Might be prudent to talk to them. I'll just say very quickly.
What? Speak up, lad. What?
Prudent talk. Them.
About?
A scuffle occurred. The Lady Oakheart will be wishing to speak with them very soon, I'm sure. They would stay for dinner.
It gives you this look that's like, what? Okay.
I just shrug my shoulders and just, Lady Marzia has begged me to keep them here.
Babblebrook walks over, and you see him speak to them for a few minutes. You can't quite make out what they're saying. So just a little bit further away, and they're outside, so the sound doesn't carry all that well.
Yeah, sure.
They seem like amiable to whatever they're talking about, and Lord Crane doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
Good. Okay, fine. That's good.
You do take note that once they've done that, Lord and Lady Crane are speaking to a septon in fairly poor-looking robes, I guess, for a septon. No big rainbow crystal crown, as you might expect some of the higher ones to be wearing. So this, and he doesn't wear any shoes either. It's quite dark, leathery feet. This is very typically one of those traveling septons that go from village to hamlet to village, preaching and just doing little services for people. And he's one of the proper bread and butter like septons of the realm.
So I'm getting the vibe of like a begging brother or something like that.
Absolutely, yeah, that kind of vibe. For sure.
Ooh, that's not You actually note that Briar's kind of like, oh crap, okay. Just seems like a poor shithead. That's okay, fine. No worries. Clear the throat and just see if like there's any vibes I'm picking up from Babblebrook that are like off. Okay, then I will immediately either go to the Lady Marzia, I suppose. That's what guards do. They're supposed to give updates and like whatever. So just whisper under my breath in a very sad manner, just Thorin would have been way better at this, and just go to Lady Marzia as quickly as possible.
For sure. Charlie, where does he find Lady Marzia?
I think she would have escorted Lord Costain to the hall and have like set him up, made sure he was being looked after by like our prettiest serving girl, like that kind of situation. Playing very nicely. doing baby talk with the baby, being, I'm a delightful woman, don't you enjoy my company? And just inwardly seething. She's so mad right now. She is vibrating with anger. If he's a good read, like, he'll pick up that she is like not having a good day. But she's doing like her best glowing host impression. She's drawing on all of her energy reserves right now.
Can I do a read? Like, just to see if Briar picks up?
On Marzia?
Yeah. Or is that just sort of like,
I mean,
it's fuming? Anybody knows?
Unless Charlie wants to disguise the fact, yeah, sure.
I think because Briar has seen her at like one of the worst moments of her life, he probably has a fairly good read on this woman.
At that, Briar is going to kind of stutter step for a little bit, and then reshuffle and get over to Lady Marzia in a very low tone, just sort of whisper, "My lady, your task has been attended to, although there is another matter that would call you away, if you've the time."
Thank you, Briar. My Lord Costain, I must apologize, but apparently a house is a very busy place when you have so many guests. But please, I hope we can continue our conversation over dinner.
Of course, my lady.
Good, you'll sit beside me then.
He stands as you leave and takes a bow at that. He's very interested in that. It's cool.
Okay, so he's gone now?
Well, Marzia's leaving, I think. Or unless that was an
Marzia,
indication.
Yes, Marzia.
yes.
Okay, so Briar will lead Marzia to the room where Mara was previously.
Okay,
It's gonna be empty.
Mm-hmm. Well, what now?
Oh, nothing. You just look tired.
You interrupted my conversation with Costain to pull me away for nothing.
I looked at you. Saw someone who needed rest. If I made a bad call, fine. Go.
Remind me again of your name.
Briar.
Briar. That's right, no last name. No title.
Just a sword.
Just a sword.
And a mind that would see you at least try not to lose yours. You can do nothing if you are running about on your feet ragged, growing calluses by the second.
My
You
feet
invest
are
in
not
it.
your concern.
Oh, but I am a guard of this house, am I not?
Allegedly.
Spoke some words. They were really pretty. Before that, I said that I'd kill for you. Green Garrison. Before that, I killed for anybody.
And now?
Well, I said, pretty words. Here I
As
am.
you say, pretty words. What is your point, Briar?
You have had to relive the worst moment of your life 3 times today. I heard it. And I hear it now. Even if you don't. If you would go, fine, but I would accompany. Or you could take a breath for yourself and for your son. Stay in there. Let somebody else run themselves ragged.
There is no one else.
Fair enough. But if you're the only one that we've got, if you're the only one that's keeping this from falling apart,
Then pray to the gods, old and new. I need to go and patch up our other hope.
He's our other hope.
You have a better suggestion, Briar?
No.
That's what I thought.
Fine.
See that my guests have a good time. See that they have the wine and the meat, whatever it is they want. See that no one is murdered on Fox Hollow land.
And if I fail at that, I promise you this, it will not be my fault. How long have we talked?
Now, a few minutes.
Have you breathed in that time?
I will not be chastised by another man in my own house.
I do not chastise, I ask. I'll leave that for my wife. Well,
Then leave that for your wife.
He clears his throat and kind of just tries to think of another way to waste your time so that you don't run around. And he can't. So
Look, please, look after the guests. Help Mara. Help the house. Let me attend to what I need to attend to. And don't let anyone wander up to the hall without me first being warned.
see if we can't get better at that.
Thank you. Protect my son. Your words were to me, but they should be to him.
I speak to both. And I speak honestly. He settles the sword at his side, settles the shield at his side, holds out his hands.
Marzia frowns, uncertain of what you want from her.
Asking for Rylan. Can't
mean
very well run
Bryn?
yourself ragged. Or Bryn. Asking for Bryn.
Marzia is really uncertain. And she hadn't realized it, but she'd been like clutching this baby to her. You have children?
No. My brother had children. He kind of stops. Does the name Thorin mean anything to you?
Sam, does the name Thorin mean anything to Marzia?
Not that I know of.
I'd say that's a cunning memory check, and I'd say that it's
Okay.
going to be pretty hard.
Okay.
12, 15? 15 is
Probably
hard.
Probably a 15.
15.
Well, I have a bonus dice in memory, so fingers crossed.
Woo!
Nope, 8. It was possible.
It was.
I have 3 in cunning and 1 in memory, so it was very possible. I'm afraid this is not a name I recall.
He served with the Old Lan. He died with the Old Lan.
His name will be on the wall.
It already is.
A part of Greenmont stone.
Haven't seen it.
You should go to the armory sometime.
Not alone. He notes that you're kind of like clutched.
I think she would have like relaxed a tiny bit as this exchange was happening.
He kind of holds out his hands.
Just a moment. He has a busy day as well. And she'll carefully pass her child over, although there's like a lot of control going to convince herself to hand her child over to anyone.
I'll get this to one of the nurses. Braith was one, right?
No. Take him to Lord Ironwood.
You go
Lord
that way.
Ironwood helped raise the children of this house and will continue to do so.
You smelled that wound.
I will care for it. It won't harm the baby. My son will be safe with Oliver. And I will breathe.
He'll take Bryn and be ever
Briar.
so gentle.
Do you know the name Alfred?
Do I know the name Alfred? Cunning memory, right?
Yeah, this is difficulty. Hang on, how long have you been with people?
Yeah, how long have you been?
Oh, for sure. This is like 3 or a 6. This is nothing
Yeah.
for you. Yeah, this is local knowledge.
Alfred. Wild boy. Had occasion to visit once or twice.
Lord Oliver has not been told of Sir Wild's fate. I'm not sure I have it in me to tell him today, but he should know. It will be important.
I'll do so myself. Spare you the burden. So long as you breathe.
Be careful with my son. He's the only Greenmont we have left.
No, he's not. The other one's just away.
Long way away.
Doesn't mean he can't come back.
My daughter's a long way away too.
Huh?
We need Lord Ironwood, Briar, whatever you think. And you will serve him as the lord of this house. Do you understand?
What I think. What I want. Doesn't matter.
You think I don't know that I am only here because I have convinced you all that I should be?
Am I holding a loaf of bread here? And he sort of cradles Bryn in his arms. You're here for more than one reason.
And the rumors?
People talk. Idiots, mostly.
What do the
Myself
Greenmont
included.
people think of the rumors, Briar?
I wouldn't know. I'm a private man. But privately, gods are nothing but trouble. No matter what you did, their meddling doesn't mark you. Or him.
You have your duties. Please take my son to Lord Ironwood. I'm afraid our deception of the sick vulture will not stand now that Lord Costain has announced our Lord's presence. But that is a problem for later me at dinner. Tell Lord Ironwood to see Braith as well, or better yet, bring Braith to him. He needs to attend dinner. There's a lot of work to be done.
You're going to help us? And he sort of looks to the child and kind of pats at his head.
He'll be due feeding.
Well, no, I'm shit at that. I will do as you ask.
Marzia almost smiles. She almost sees the humor in that.
I must say, I am sure that there are other matters that many are attending to. Perhaps 10 minutes of time. And he sort of looks to the sort of bed of Mara and stands aside, clutching the
I shall
child.
go to my own chambers to change. I appreciate your concern.
As long as you can walk there.
I have 2 legs.
So it would seem.
I'll go with you to the armory when our guests are done. I have my own ghosts to visit.
He won't say anything, but again he'll pat Bryn and just make his way slowly to Oliver.
I would like to cut back across to Mara, just to see if she's got anything that Vivi we want to do.
I think this is where, like, she goes off to find Alistair,
Mhm.
as Marzia is instructed, because she wants to see if there's anything House Oakheart might be able to help with here. And I think Mara would have at some point told Alistair about what happened in the Godswood. I don't know if he would be too shocked, but there was that whole conversation they had about the truth and what went on. But I don't know where she finds him, but she'll take him off to, there's probably a side chamber somewhere that she can pull him into.
I reckon she's had to go out of the keep. I reckon she's gone back down the kind of road for a bit to find him, kind of preparing some hunters, saddling up. He's organizing people rather than going just yet. He's like about to head out with some people.
Are there still tents and stuff set up here? Because I imagine the host is not all in the keep.
Yeah, now that you've got back down this natural ramp that leads up to the keep, you've come back to where they're now setting up camp, or having done so over the last couple of hours.
And Mara is kind of holding her skirts, because I imagine the amount of people and horses trudging over this land has kind of kicked up some of the mud.
A whole group of hunters trot their way across you, in front of you, and then leave the mud soggy in front of you. But let's pick up where you've explained to Alistair what's happened in the Godswood, and that basically you need to kind of rectify things with the cranes.
Marzia is keen to keep an alliance with her parents. If they spread this, it could bring ruin to her, my brothers, me, this house.
The cranes are a valued neighbour. Red Lake is not far from Old Oak. But I don't know what to offer.
Something, anything. Look, Alistair, I know the last few days, ever since the battle, I'm sorry. The last thing I want to do is hurt you or have you questioned.
I don't understand. What do they intend? If we're trying to rectify their relationship, what good is... I mean, an advocate of character is fine, but why should we get involved? I mean, not that why should we get involved, but what value can we bring? I don't understand.
Marzia seems to think that I might have a chance of talking her mother round, and perhaps that's a way to get through to her father. One of my brothers has been taken. The other one and his future depend on the cranes being our allies.
I can try and help.
Is there something that we can offer? A goodwill gift of House Oakheart? Is there an act? Is there a favour they might owe?
I mean, we have knights with us, soldiers. I can offer them the service of somebody, but I don't know. Apart from that,
Is there anything that perhaps they're looking to have supported in court? Anything you could put your favour in for?
What you'll have to find out, and then we'd have to speak to my father. It's difficult, but possible.
Perhaps if I speak to her mother, if you trust me to find out if there's something reasonable that we can support, that we could offer that.
Of course.
Alistair, I'm sorry about the last few days. Things have been stressful, and my sister, my brother, I know I'm outspoken. I know I question you, and perhaps I didn't do it so much publicly, but I hope you care for me enough that you respect me questioning you, at least in private. Neither of us make good decisions if we leave the other unchecked.
Of course. Sorry. What? And he looks past you over your shoulder, and he says to a couple of his Oakheart knights, "What is going on?" And the two of them approach him, and they say, "My lord, Sir Oliver is here in the keep. He seems to have travelled here. The rumours running through the keep." Did you know about this?
No, I thought he... How... She'll turn to those guards and go, "Is this a rumour or is this true? I will not have lies spread in my father's house. Do you understand me?"
They nod and they leave for the keep, like they head straight back up the hill.
She'll turn back to Alistair. What happened? What happened in that battle? I couldn't make it out, not from the hillside. Please.
Sir Oliver made his made his order to head up in front of us. We were following him. We engaged the melee that was going on between him and the vultures, and Lord Peake issued the order to charge into Sir Oliver's rear against my command of the battle. And then
Peake attacked Sir Oliver and his men.
As soon as they saw each other, things changed, and we got the command to move around to the flank to attack the vultures from the left, and we won the day with them, with Sir Oliver. Not that he was at all grateful.
But you swear to me it was Peake that ordered that, not you.
I swear. Do you want to make a check? Or
yeah,
if you don't want to make a check, that's up to you.
She wants to see if he's being deceptive. She really wants to believe that he's not. But she saw how much tension there was in that room when she arrived at the battle. And knows something went on in that room, and she didn't have the time then to ask about it.
Okay. I'm actually going to get him to make a check, and then that leaves it a bit more open to you. And I'm going to type this out so you don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
He lying. That's what we know he doing.
What is your passive will rank? So it's will times 4. It's the little number in there.
12.
He scored a 9. So he presses upon you that this is the truth. It is up to you, Virginia, whether Mara is convinced or not. But I want to leave that open. For the meta, I want to leave that
Mara
open.
never trusted Peake to begin with. So I think in this situation, with her distrust of Peake, she wouldn't believe that she wants to believe that he knows how much Sir Oliver means to her, because Sir Oliver was there throughout her childhood, and she wants to believe that he wouldn't willingly do that, and that
I think, especially with the incident with the Tarly and Peake and the investigation with Alistair, and Marzia was like, "Do not trust those two before you left." I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So.
So I think Mara would look at him. She'd study his eyes for a moment and go, "I believe you. There aren't any lies between us. But I have to be sure. I'm sure you understand why I ask, because if somebody asks, I don't want to have to lie.
I know what Sir Oliver means to you, but he showed some true colours after that battle. It's what I've been trying to not make you see. I haven't been trying to make you see anything, but please, please believe me. He is not just and chivalrous as he prances around like he does sometimes.
Perhaps not, but then I wonder, is anyone quite as just or chivalrous as we all pretend to be sometimes?
I think many men are capable of that, but some take advantage of their knightly stead. You saw the Ironwood brothers tear each other up at our wedding tourney. This is what I mean. This is what they are like.
I don't know what happened between him and his brother. I have heard rumours that there has been problems there for a long time. But Alistair, you have to understand, when you say them, when you mean the Dornish, my mother was Dornish and she was a fine woman. I am half Dornish. That heritage doesn't disappear because the other half of me is Westerosi. I know that your house has got history. Our house has history with the Dornish. But like I said to you, we have a choice for that house when it becomes ours, a choice for our sons and daughters. We can continue to perpetuate this over and over and have war after war and killing after killing, or we can try and move past something that happened hundreds of years ago and be better. Look at what fighting does. Look at what holding on to grudges, where the people involved in them are no longer even living.
You speak of this as if some kind of ancient event. We were witness to this. Iron men, Dornishmen fighting Reacher men. Raids in the marchlands. This is now.
I know, but you cannot categorize all of them by the actions of a few. Alistair, if you wanted to say that all Dornishmen were bad because those raiders were Dornish, would you call me bad?
I'm not saying all Dornishmen are bad, but look at your uncle. Look at Sir Oliver. His blood runs through them, through the men of these houses, and it stains the realm.
Do you consider me a stain on the realm, Alistair?
No, you fool. I would like you. We're literally going to roll against each other.
Okay.
All right. So this is against passive wills. So I'm going to roll this. Oh gosh. Yep. What's your passive will?
12.
Okay, cool. So you're fine. So roll. I'd convince. I don't know. Whatever you.
Yeah. She's trying to convince him that his viewpoint is black and white and it doesn't have to be.
For sure. For sure.
I like getting to do convince. It's a 19, and then where's all the stuff she does? Oh, it's been so long since I've been on
Oh
the
shit!
sheet.
Yeah, I forgot I added all stuff
19,
together.
20, 21.
Oh yeah.
22.
Are you adding any disposition stuff? Like disposition rating stuff to this?
I mean, she doesn't have a negative view of her husband. I wonder if this would count with a bonus dice that strengthens our union from the wedding vows, because she's pulling in this as a personal part of her relationship.
Well, if you're going to throw that at me, all right. I'll roll my.
She's pulling in of like you are having a very black and white view of something that is part of my identity. I'll do the same.
3 and 2, 5.
I don't think that does any.
9.
Makes no difference to me for my
So
roll
mine-
having that.
So mine would be a 9, but a 12. Still not going to happen. Okay.
So it's 22 is mine in total with my bonuses.
How? What?
I rolled 19. I get +2 to convince tests, and I add 1 to persuasion test results.
Oh, all right.
Mara's good at this thing.
Yeah. All right.
She's good at talking.
Sure. He seems pensive and thoughtful after your conversation. And that's all groovy. We are going to wrap up tonight's session with a bit of a skip forward to the nighttime, to bedtime. I'm gonna fiddle a bit with the timing of the feast and stuff because I actually want to make that a bit of a thing, so we can talk about that a bit afterwards. But I'd like to leave us with, I think, just the image of Marzia climbing back into bed after an exhausting night. Sir Oliver, obviously, resting up in the kind of like medical bit. But it's Lady Marzia I'm concerned with, as she gets tucked in by a handmaid, closes her eyes, and once more slips into the skin of Salastraya. That's what we're on tonight. Just because like that repetition of she's doing this again, and she's pushing, and she's got days, and she's got nights, and she's just getting no rest. All right, well, that is the end of a very, very cool, exciting session, guys. Thank you very much indeed. I mean, someone almost died. And it was a little agility test, like before, that kept it going.
I literally whispered Don. I said, next time you try and shank someone, don't miss.
Right. I need to record some bonus dice. Mara's still got a test die and a bonus die. Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't used mine
Yeah,
yet.
she didn't use hers.
Wow. All right. Oliver's got bonus dice. Sure.
Mara's dangerous with bonus dice. And
Mara's dangerous when she opens her mouth. That's the secret.
Just don't let her talk.
Pretty much, right. Cool. All right. Cool. Thank you so much. Tom, thank you for staying with us.
We love you, Tom!
So juicy.
See, Marzia Mrs. Alfred. She hasn't forgotten.
So juicy. Juicy fruits. All right,
So many
cool.
juicy fruits.
So Jason, before we do our who are you and where are you stuff, welcome back, and I love that Briar's got some real Bronn energy going on, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I've sort of drawn inspiration from a couple of sort of those bodyguard characters, but the main point I just wanted to drive home was that his roots aren't really planted here yet. They're just there, and it's at a time where the soil is loose. There's like so much going on, and yeah, it really is that sense of I don't know how to do this, but sure.
I love that. I do love that. It's very cool.
Yeah, it wasn't
Awesome.
lying when he told Marzia that it was literally I spoke some pretty words, killed people for somebody, killed people for coin before that. That's it.
And that was a beautiful scene where he was like, just breathe. Like he was there for just helping her like calm down and trying to get her to rest a bit. That was very cool. But yeah, so whereabouts can we find you on the internet, and what are you up to?
You can find me at Just Jason Please on Twitter. You can see what I'm up to. The current pinned tweet that I've got is a little erroneous. There have been some cancellations, some shifts, and things are going in every which way. But yeah, no. You can find me here on Thursdays. You can find me next Monday over on Susanna Grace's channel with Half-Assed Hermit in chat, Lydia and Jamie, hopefully, praying to all gods that is something that we get to do on Monday, as well as the Greyhawk channel on Monday, hopefully Nerdsmith on Tuesday. Things are shifting. Follow me.
Things happen.
I'll keep you posted. So.
Oh, cool. No worries. Yeah, check out him on Twitter. Awesome. Thank you very much. Charlie,
Hassan.
you bring me all the juicy fruits. I literally thought halfway through this was something I wanted to say at the very end. Sure, sex is great, but have you ever played with Charlie when she's fucking on point when it comes to a role-playing session? Jesus Christ. I was like, fuck.
Well, I have to have some deep and serious words with one of my best friends soon. But I say, like, real talk, I messaged Don last night. I was like, is it awful that I'm not looking forward to the guest tomorrow? And my honest reason for this was Greg like did some serious trauma. Like, that was an intense encounter. I was underprepared for it. It worked really well for the scene, and I can give you kudos as a director for making that happen. But I was like, I don't know if I can go through that again. And I was just like, it's been so long since we've all played together. I said to Don, I just want to play with my fam. I just want to, do that. And then when Don appeared, I was like, that bastard.
Do you know what? We knew. And, like, we were like, she's going to live for it. But, like, yeah, you're legit, like, a bit scared about it. But I was thinking, when he comes on, it's all going to be,
I would say I was relieved, but I felt this rush of Marzia anger. This fury that has been building.
The bleed is real.
Is this a bad time to say that Sam accidentally told me Don would be on tonight? He didn't tell me who as, so I didn't know if Don was as Oliver or as somebody else. And so I was like, Sam, who's in the casting call? He was like,
so.
Charlie, Jason, Don. I didn't say Don. I was like, weird. He's like, no, I didn't say Don. Damn it, now you know who the guest is. I was like, I didn't even know there was a guest, Sam. You were like, damn it.
It's like Sam and I had been talking about the cranes, so I was like 80% sure the guest showing up was going to have something to do with that. So I was wrong. Sort of. The cranes did also show up. So yeah, it was a surprise. And it was really great to be back here with my family and really great to see everyone in chat. This is like the most intense level of roleplay. I think to sell Game of Thrones, to sell the politics and like just the family relationships, like it's an intense level of roleplay. But I've had a great time. I've been very glad for the wine that my mother brought to me. I text her like, please, and then she turned up and she had the bottle and she couldn't get the cork out and she's waving at me. I'm like, go away! I'm on screen. I can't deal with that right now. And she comes back in and she's got the cork out. She's like, here. So I have to make some apologies soon. But yes, no, this was a lot of fun. This has been a really great Thursday night. We reached new levels of fucked. DeathCon super fucked. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, Sam. It was a surprise.
Good.
Thank you, Don. It was a surprise. And kudos to Jason. Bringing in a new character midway through is difficult. Briar obviously got a hard time from Marzia, but she's the lady of the house. He's just a member of the house. She definitely wouldn't on a normal day have been as harsh as she was, but this was a very bad day for Marzia. And I, like you say, I really appreciate that scene where he was like, woman, you gotta breathe. Remember, you're a person. Remember, like, you're dealing with a lot. And it was like, it's a nice, like, circle round almost to like that Alfred energy, to having someone back in the house who's here not for like a particular political reason, even though Briar still needs to be brought into the fold. And I'm super excited to see how that all develops. It's really cool having so many people at Fox Hollow who are in the house, part of the house, because we haven't had big group scenes really. We've always been in like 2s and 3s, and today we had 4, and that was really fun. Super fun getting to see everyone play together. I am Twitch director for Encounter Roleplay. As I mentioned at the top of the show, we are casting our own Game of Thrones show for January 2020, and Sam will be in it. And the other thing to know about it is it will be a sister or cousin to this game. So it's happening kind of simultaneously. We're centered around the Crown's land, so we're up in King's Landing. So the last episode really informed a lot of what will be happening in that campaign when we come to January, along with all of these lords nearly getting shanked, etc. I've posted a link into chat, which is our Discord link. If you want to submit to sign up to our cast, click that Discord link, go to the January 2020 casting calls. Please also check out the monthly meat grinder, November 30th. We're raising money for a really great cause. It's going to be so much fun. Susie is our GM. It's like the end of the encounter season, so it's going to, be balls to the wall and wild and crazy and a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun on our meat grinders, and that's something that I aim for. I want people to roleplay, do stupid stuff. My character ended up seducing kind of Strahd, although I think he won when Don was DMing it. It was crazy. It was a good time, and the joust last time was a great time. So this time's gonna be great too. I have faith. Just kudos to the cast here; they're amazing to play with, and kudos to Sam. Running a Game of Thrones show is intense. And Sam does a killer job, and he brings the energy. And I know Sam is hella busy too, so props.
Yeah, this
Props
week is
to
going to
Lord
be
Webb.
exhausting, but cool. Yeah, thank you so much. The fan was back, and you don't look impressed.
So, oh god, just so much happened. I didn't know Don was coming on as Oliver. So when it was like, this is Oliver, I was like, dude, what? where has Oliver come from? And then just like hearing the stories recounted about Alistair, I'm like, oh, this is going to be fun. Because now Marzia is going to be caught between what Oliver has said has happened. And as far as Virginia actually remembers it, it wasn't Alistair who ordered Peake to attack. Peake did just fucking go off on his own and do his own thing. So this is going to get interesting because there is now her husband who she really does love, and this other man who is like a second father figure to her. They don't like each other. One of them's marrying her stepmother and now she has to help try and deal with this whole business with the Cranes. And Mara knows that if Marzia is this concerned, there's no way she can lie about what happened. She just has to hope she can talk this mother round in the same way she was trying to talk Lana around, and that it doesn't matter now, it's done. But there are children and a woman that needs you. And I don't think I've ever been so stressed for one of my RPG characters as I am for Mara right now. There's a bit in the back of her head that's like, you should have just gone back to Oak. Yeah, old Oak. Just stay there and batten down the goddamn hatches and just ride it all out.
Yeah.
And honestly, that moment in talking to Marzia, finding out what happened to her brother, I was nearly in tears. I care about these children. Even the demon baby.
Even the demon baby.
Especially the demon baby, because it's me.
For sure.
But like, that was a great scene, and I love getting to be in scenes with Charlie because we both get super emotional about what's going on because everything
Whenever
is
we
tragic.
meet, it's always like a hyper emotional moment. And the thing I liked about it was Sam let us just do it without making us turn it into an intrigue. Just let us talk it out.
It's just...
And I'm sorry, I was so mean.
It's okay. Mara understands. Also, I love Briar. Just already a fave. The accent is great. I can't wait for Mara to interact with him because I think it will be hilarious. Like, or seeing him interact with like Alistair or something, I think will be really, really funny because he's like definite Bronn vibes, like everyone said, because he's, you know, he does as he's told. He's going to tell you what he thinks first.
Yeah,
and I really like that because I almost feel like Mara would appreciate that.
I would hope so. I designed explicitly this character to be not an antithesis to Simon, but somebody who's like he's been around, and after the Fyre can dig in more, but been around and kind of come back to.
He's got some life experience.
yeah, and just sort of see what it goes.
It's cool.
And I love this. I love exploring this thing with Alistair and how he feels about the Dornish, because the fact that his wife is half Dornish. And I genuinely appreciate that that's something we can delve into, because I think it's really a really interesting attitude that reflects a lot of stuff in real life where people are like, oh no, you're fine. But then I'm going to generalize all of these other people.
Mm-hmm.
And getting to explore that on there as somebody who is like half English, half Filipino is really interesting for me. And I really, really like that that's a thing that's going on that's, I feel like, slowly turning into something for Alistair as she keeps bringing this up and he doesn't really know how to deal with it. Because sometimes he's been upset, sometimes he's been frustrated, sometimes he can't really believe that she thinks he would think bad of her. And I think it adds so much more depth to his character and their relationship. And I love it.
Good stuff.
You're great.
You touched on some stuff there about like having to try and talk the Cranes around and stuff, where I totes want to make this feast an episode. I think we could. So I think that's what I want to kind of change a little bit. So it doesn't just happen that night, but like give it a couple of days for them to gather food. There's more guests and stuff than they anticipated. So we could actually make it like a cool feast, and we can all write a dish so that we have some crazy George R.R. Martin food descriptions, right? But yeah,
Yes.
and then we're all here, and it's going to be fucking intense. It's going to be great. And fucking intense if you're Alistair, you know.
I mean, that's fine. I can't wait to get to roll another d6 again to see if we've got an heir yet.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Don, we gotta have words, man.
How's it going?
You can't come at me like that. I mean, you totally
So,
can.
Like, I had a few thoughts. A few weeks ago, or a few sessions ago, I kind of had this idea. Like, we've been playing it very carefully, and for Oliver, who's a man of action, he's been playing it very carefully. And I was like, you know what? Like, we've crossed the threshold. Oliver's been kind of backed into a corner in a lot of ways. Miria is very much in danger, and the options for her having a good life, in his eyes, are becoming fewer and fewer. So, you know, he's going to take some bigger swings. And when that dude came in, when Lord Mathis came in, and he said he was with the Cranes, I was thinking the entire time, like, the only thing that Oliver is going, like, just playing in the back of his head is like, everybody's going to find out that I'm here, and my life is going to be in danger. The Oakharts are here. There's a reason why I stowed away. I do not trust Alistair. And me as a player, and Oliver's mind, it was, I mean, like, Peak did turn on him at the end, but in the middle of the battle, it was the Oakharts who attacked his armies. It was not the Peak army. They attacked and then they backed off, but the Oakharts kept attacking. Oliver has it in his mind that, you know, they tried to kill him. And he knows that they're classic racists. They're renowned racists. He's dealt with them before. So I was attempting in the intrigue to determine maybe I can trust this man, maybe I can barter with this man, but there was just no chance in that intrigue. It was like a steamroller. And so I held on to, like, for 10 seconds. I was like, is murdering somebody in Marzia's private studies probably bad, but if I do it, I can probably cover it up. Let's just try. Let's just see.
Oh my god, Don. Oh my god. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What I want to know is, would he have told Marzia?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Oliver's trying to be and Oliver's a pretty honest person. I want to say, like, out of 10, he's a 9, you know?
I feel like that's his journey in this campaign, though, is like we're seeing.
But he's becoming
at
less
what
honest
point
as time goes on. Yeah.
He falters on that and what he's willing
Yeah.
to give up to succeed.
And that really came into play this session a couple of times. The couple of scenes that I was in, that was a big thing for him, is telling the truth, but also not telling the truth that's going to damage his own ambitions and plans and hopes. And I loved, those brief moments. I loved getting to role play with Jason. I haven't gotten to do that before. I really enjoyed the new character a lot. I think he's a great addition to the cast and kind of gives a different wrinkle than what we've had.
For sure.
And I love the reunion with Marzia, because it's been, I don't know, 6 months since, Charlie and I played a scene together in this game. The last time they did, it was basically like the proposal, right?
Yeah, it ended with the word "fine."
Fine. So it's been a long time coming. And now I'm so wounded that I'm going to have to, even though I'm like, time passing makes me very anxious, because I, as a player, know what Susie has to deal with over in House Ironwood. But there's going to have to be time. I have 2 wounds.
There's
I
a
have
reason he
gangrene.
came crawling back to Fox Hollow and not to Ironwood.
I don't trust the maester there.
Yeah.
Oliver doesn't trust the maester there either. That was definitely part of the consideration. But yeah, I had a great time. I always do. Looking forward to our next session. Looking forward to having a less, like, chaos around when he and Marzia can have a conversation. Getting to meet his child, not child. It's pretty awkward for the first time.
Yeah.
I think will be a really nice moment. And that's it. Yeah, I love this game. You guys are all fantastic, and I had a really good time today. I'm kind of light on streaming for the end of the year. I'm trying to like keep my schedule loose because I have so much writing to get done before the end of the year. But I do have this game when I'm on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tales from the Grim. You can see me playing in The Realms Remembered. And then a lot of my work right now is prepping for some pretty fun, exciting games that I'll be running next year. So as soon as I'm able to say anything about that, I will.
Cool, man. I'm looking forward to it. And I've started to play in Don's Dark Sun game,
Oh,
which
it's so much fun.
was freaking awesome. Absolutely awesome. I got to play as Rykeen, like crazy bug man. And,
He was awesome.
Yeah, just like completely like curveball it of just like he can barely speak common, like he has no idea what's going on. He got thrown into a slave pit as a gladiator fighter. It was awesome, and I love the setting too. So like,
Me too.
yeah, you've legit got my player.
To
attitude
anyone
up.
watching, I want to say if you get the chance to play for Sam, for Don, for V, or for Jason, you're gonna have opportunities for all of these coming up, I'm sure. Get on it, apply to it, put in the effort, because it's a delight to play with all of them. I've played with all of them as my DM and as kind of co-conspirators and things, and they're incredible. So keep an eye out for those opportunities. Don't be afraid to apply for them. Don't be afraid to put your name in and give it a go, because you're going to get an amazing game out of it, and it's the kind of game that you're not going to find many places.
And the same goes twice over for you, Charlie, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Well, with that, folks, let's
keep an eye out for after the fire, because we have a lot to talk about, including the question that I just saw in chat about does Oliver's halberd have a name. I want that answered, but I think after the fire will be the place to get that answer.
Yeah, for sure. We'll figure out when that is and who's on it very soon, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. If you did check out this, if you're watching back on YouTube, do check us out on Thursday evenings, which is 8 p.m. UK time or 3 p.m. of the Easterns. And friends, again, thank you very much for playing with me. It's an absolute joy. I absolutely love this game. And we'll see everyone next week. See you later.